If you can hear the sound of my voice, if you can hear my voice, you're hearing my voice. If you can hear my voice, if you can hear the sound of my voice, you are on LSD. 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 You are on the Lonely Screen Delicatessen channel.
Okay, we're live.
If you can hear the sound of my voice, then you are on LSD. Not the mind-altering substance that can elevate your consciousness. No. The show. With me, as always, my co-host, and partner in crime, Mike, the Pinoy Boy Toy Novoloso.
Oh, hello.
And also, he's usually also here, but he's usually sleeping and farting in a corner of the mouth. But today he's awake and fucking with everything. This is Sunny Boy, the newest member of the Rod Squad.
The Rod Squad. The Rod Squad.
He's just looking at me like, I'm just gonna wait till you're like really into this conversation, and then I'm gonna eat the most dangerous wire that's in here.
Yeah, that's how dogs work, right?
Puppy style, man. He's like a brute, so he just fucks everything up with like real well.
Yeah.
He's real good at, and he'll also just like be walking down the street and decide like, I want that rock, and he'll just grab a giant rock, or he'll just grab like a giant branch. And he's so little that his little ass end will stick up when he tries to carry shit.
No, that's funny.
I just hope he looks like one of those fucking Beowulf fucking sheepdogs, because his dad's a Rottweiler mix and his mom's like a sheepdog mix. So I'm hoping he's got like the thickness of the Rottie and like the wiry hair.
And the eyes.
He's got the sheepdog yellow eyes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
He's a good boy and a fat boy.
So I think I know why we're guestless tonight.
Oh,
Maybe.
why? Do tell.
Because I think I was talking to you about sexual assault statistics and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure our would-be guest disagreed with my definitions of things. I don't know. That's just a guess. I'm not 100%, but I'm just guessing. I'm a guessing man.
See, now I'm drawing a blank as to what that conversation was and why it would be divisive. What were we talking about?
According to the crazy people on the left, sexual assault happens every day, and it's over 50% of women are sexually assaulted every day because eye contact is also rape. Yeah. Eye contact and speaking to a woman, just to say hello or may I open the door for you, without her consent is also rape. If you're,
I do remember this conversation.
if you're falling,
that's weird, man.
Yeah, if you're falling down near a woman and you graze her leg, she can report that as sexual assault. Not in Florida, but in most places right now. That's what I'm saying. You're dying, right? Your guts are falling out, and you're help me, and you touch her leg. She's like, oh, I was raped. You know.
That's not something though that has a legal precedent set yet. That's the issue there.
Correct. It is not a legal thing.
This is a social, outcry or a social.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like anything else, man. Where are you in the world that's gonna fly? Maybe some places, but go to anywhere in Latin America. Go to anywhere in Europe where everybody kisses hello. It's
no, I mean
it's one of those things.
Every place outside of Canada and the United States.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things that we over and over again in this rash and this flood of woke shit, we're showing how fucking tone deaf we are culturally as a nation, because we speak in these fucking absolutes over, and it's both sides. I don't see one side really doing better than the other, because it's a lot of blanketing over and over again. That's what frustrates me to no end with peers and whomever. You see these blankets thrown over really complicated and
what I like to do is blanket
nuanced
leftists and rightists together in their extremism. That's it.
That I can, and that's really where they are, right?
It's where they belong. They belong together.
Authoritarian.
Because they don't exist without each other, though.
Right.
If they're
authoritarian branch of the government that is pulling right now. It's like a vacuum from both poles, and it's like
Yeah.
it's gonna turn into a snake that's like sucking its own butthole.
They are, and that's the other thing. It's funny that you say that because they are like sucking themselves off. No, I mean like that's what they sound like when they talk. They're just sucking themselves off.
And
Fucking.
again, these issues, like the looking at someone as rape or whatever kind of thing.
No,
they're
you can
designed-
look. You can look right now, but as long as you don't make eye contact without
But
their
any shit like
consent.
that, any shit like that is designed for divisiveness. It's just
Yeah.
like the way that the right used to use gay marriage, the way that they
Mhm.
used to use abortion. It's the same shit where they're taking issues that really don't pertain to you at an individual level,
Yeah.
and they create an overblown issue out of this thing. And then it becomes something that they can push a voter block one way or another with.
Yeah.
And it's fucking stupid. Like, it's stupid as shit. The gay
So-
thing never made sense, and it won't make sense when it's looking at you as rape.
Yeah.
If someone being gay means that you're gonna all of a sudden be like overcome with needing to suck a dick, it's the same thing as like all of a sudden if I glance at the bagging woman at Publix that I've committed an assault, a sexual assault.
Yeah.
It's a crock of shit. It's ridiculous. And
Mhm.
on top of that, I welcome those people to openly espouse those views, because over and over again, those are the idiots that marginalize themselves.
Yeah. Well,
When you can get people like fucking John Denver and D. Snyder and fucking Two
unite.
Live Crew and fucking
Yeah.
NWA to unite in a courtroom to tell Tipper Gore that she needs to suck a dick to improve her own fucking life,
Yeah.
you can look at that whole system and say, oh, they all go to the same country club.
Yeah.
They all hang out at the same places. Their kids go to the same prep schools.
Mhm.
Red tie, blue tie. It's all in the middle.
all purple.
Of a $5,000 suit.
Yeah. It's all purple. They might as well be the same color.
The shirt is light blue buttoned up Oxford cloth.
Yeah.
It costs more than a fucking maintenance on my vehicle.
Yeah.
Like
More than
it's
most
like-
people's rent. Like
Yeah.
the shirt. The shirt
Yes.
does. Not the whole thing.
That we keep saying we don't want to make these conversations political, but it's so egregious at this point now where everything's been politicized. You don't have a choice. but to be
Unfortunately.
drawn into a political sphere or whatever.
Well, yeah.
And when you don't play the game, you're a man without a country. You don't have a.
Well, we don't play the game though. That's the thing. Like,
That's the beauty of what we're doing here. We just have our
Mhm.
individual opinions.
yeah.
And then we kind of ride those and see where they take us. We don't want to play the game. And that's the thing too. Like, each side's gross.
Uh-huh.
Each side sucks. No side is like, hey,
I'm not for any side that's
freedom.
constantly sucking somebody's dick.
right.
And they
I saw
both
the side
only
that is,
do.
hey, guess what we got over here?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, the blue side's, hey, we got inclusivity and intersectionality.
The only
and
thing
we
is,
got-
the
we
only
got
thing
justice
is,
for the- and the right side is, we've got values and we've got moral fiber
Mhm.
and we've got God. And I just want somebody to go, hey,
so this is,
do you remember America?
no, so,
How about
so,
we pick a side with freedom?
so here's the
Freedom.
thing. So here's the thing. So you said the left and the right. So like, leftists and rightists are,
They're the authoritarian branches of
Yeah.
each wing.
but like the average Democrat is like, I just want everybody to be left alone and be
Here's
able to
the
do what they
problem.
want. But and then here's the crazy thing: the average Republican is also like, I just want everybody to be left alone and kind of
But
do whatever
here
they
is
want,
the
do whatever
problem.
they want.
But here is the problem with said average Democrat and average Republican. This is the way, in my estimation, the problem is that they're all pussies. And
Yeah.
none of them want to ruffle feathers or
Mhm.
rock ships, and all they want to do is ride it out. Like there's this old saying in fight sports where it's like some guys fight to win and some guys fight to,
To not lose, yeah.
And
yeah.
there's a lot of motherfuckers in the political landscape who just do the bare
So-
minimum to get out over and over again and not.
I have a
win. They're not
question.
trying to champion. That's why guys like Trey Gowdy are the
Yeah.
fuck out.
Yeah.
He said, "I can't do anything here.
hmm
I can't fix this shit." Like whatever you think of his.
I have a
viewpoint,
question.
The guy is just.
Yeah. No, that is like the most just man I feel like that has ever been in American politics.
And he said straight up, working as a prosecutor or as a defender privately in the
Mhm.
law system is going to allow me to do more for the American people than any way and any time that I spent in the Senate or Congress, whatever it
Yeah.
is that he was in. And fucking, it's one of those things that when someone is saying that, and there's several other people who have taken that same tact over the last
Mhm.
few years, where they're like, we can't get shit done.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bunch of pushing the ball back and forth.
I would like
now.
to, if I could get elected to office, I would like to bring crudeness worse, like that makes Trump look like a polite gentleman, to where they'd be like, the gentleman from Florida has a stand. I'm like, yeah, what's up, cunt? So this bitch fucking over here, I caught her sucking a dude's dick, right? I caught her sucking this Republican's dick, so you guys should not be fucking supporting her. And this Republican, he was getting fucked by this Democrat in the ass, so you like shouldn't support him. What the fuck is wrong with all you? Just saying this live on TV. Just all the beeps. And it's just lies. It's just lies. But like, that's all. So if they're gonna just lie, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, if you guys are just gonna lie every single time you come up here and speak in front of the American people, I might as well just say whatever the fuck I want. And I'm just going to keep doing it, and you're not going to like it. And then when you guys have me fucking killed, I'm just going to live stream that shit too, because I'm live streaming 100% of the day. Like, fucking do it, bitch. Like,
and that's the other thing too. That's when people say like, "Oh, what bad did Trump do?" Trump, I don't think did anything worse than any other.
No, he was regular president.
But here's what he did. Here's what he did. He opened us up for a Dwayne Johnson presidency, for an Oprah presidency.
Yeah,
For
an idiocracy presidency.
Absolutely, and that's the problem though, and that's why I think the powers that be, as it were, they came at him so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, we have to show that even if you can make it here and ascend to this place, if you don't play the game with us,
it's not going to be good. Yeah, because
no
we can't kill you anymore, so we'll just pull it like a. No, if you're the president, like, no, because they already did that once, and that
Here's my
the
opinion.
backlash on that
You're not wrong.
was
All I'm
much
saying
more
is
than they were expecting.
we haven't had a president yet that's kill worthy.
What? No. Yeah, no. Literally, there's been 3. There's been 3, because it was Andrew Jackson.
Kennedy?
Kennedy? Since Kennedy, yeah, it was literally Nixon. He fucking played the game and then got there and then was like,
you couldn't do that one back to back.
Yeah, like he basically
You
was.
have a back to back coup.
Yeah,
Okay?
and he wasn't. I mean, back to back. Yeah.
What I'm saying is this though.
But they didn't. They were like, we can't kill him, so they just assassinated his character. That was it.
We have not had a set of circumstances that warranted it. That's all.
What you're talking about?
Like if
Nixon.
If Trump was as charming and as eloquent and as handsome as JFK was, and had the cult of personality in the opposite direction that JFK had.
Yeah.
Like Trump was like Iggy Pop. Trump was like a band you love to hate. Trump was like somebody that you watch because he's gonna roll around on the ground. Like remember?
And like cut himself. Yeah.
Somewhere in the 2000s, Red Hot Chili Peppers became like this great band, right? But before that, they were dudes with dick socks.
They became a great. They're a great band.
Well,
I thought they were a great band.
That's why I gave the quotes.
I thought they were a great band when they were when their first guitar player died of a heroin overdose, and then that was it.
I'm not anything special. I cannot call a great band any band that has the lyrics nang nang nung nong nang nang nung nong nang nang and the song. And I like Anthony Kiedis. I think he can sing. I think he's got interesting melodies and rhythms that he plays with.
He's just a junkie that's not on drugs anymore.
All I'm saying is like, it's a song. You can repeat the chorus every time. You gotta have different shit in the verses. Like you can't just make up ning nang nung nong. Like that song to me, and that was when they really spiked on their popularity.
And that's when John Frusciante left, too. The guitar player.
To me was just like
again. I'm sorry. When he left the second time.
As a dude who writes lyrics, like I literally have rap battles in the shower, like with myself, just so that I can like utilize my vocabulary and work through iambic pentameter and rhyme scheme or whatever.
So
when I hear shit like that, lazy writing like that makes it that far, it gets me really sad.
Well, yeah, they already made it that far, so he could just do that.
They weren't like this rock and roll royalty that a lot of people look at them as.
Like, and when I think of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think of that moment.
I like them. I've seen them live. I've enjoyed their live show. When Flea does like a 20-minute fucking bass song, I loved every second of it. It was stupid and great in the best way. Fucking
John Frusciante is the best.
Yeah. John Frusciante looks like he's has to be on heroin to be in the band. Like fucking.
Because he's the greatest artist, besides the guy that he replaced originally, that has ever been in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and one of the greatest artists in music from that time.
I believe, you know me, I'm not technical, but I believe they're called diminished.
Like fifths and stuff. Yeah, that's what he does. So I've actually got a tech aspect that. So like the guitar, right? So let me just it's real easy to. So like octaves, like you're doing the same note, it's just a higher pitch, right? So like this open note, right, on whatever string this is, right, is the octave of it is right here where the double dot is, right? Okay. So there's one particular string, right? The second one from the bottom, this one right here, right? So if you tune it on the open, right, it's out of tune up here on the 12, right? Okay. So what he does is he purposely detunes this one string, which is how he gets his very unique sound. Well, no, it's like it's his chords sound like they're also on heroin. That's what you're hearing. It's not. Yeah, it's not like it's almost flat. Yeah, it's almost flat all the time. And then when his high pitched solos are going, they're super clean. That's because now that part of the neck doesn't sound a little bit out of tune, because it's almost impossible to get that octave up on the string. Yeah.
He's a beautiful freak.
Well, no, but he doesn't. He does it on.
I didn't bring that up just to shit on Red Hot Chili Peppers, but fucking.
But he's just amazing. Like the point of time that you're talking about when, yeah, then when that was like their lyrics, right? He was like, peace. I'm gonna go work with this weird jazz acid Cuban fusion rock band in Texas, which was the Mars Volta. Like everybody doesn't know that he plays all the guitars forever on every Mars Volta album in the studio. And do
you guys got a red room I can blow fucking shit in, blow my veins out?
I mean, I bet that's literally I think that's what happened, because like they kicked out one of their drummers for not doing enough drugs. And he's like, I do PCP and heroin before the show. They're like,
what are we talking about?
They're like, that's not enough, man. We're all like gone all the time. He's like, I gotta sleep sometime. And they're like, I don't know. He's like, I'm a fucking athlete on the drums, and you're gonna fucking tell me that's not. All right, fine. Fuck you guys. I'm out. Thomas Pridgeon, this amazing kid on the drums.
Too, man. Like bands in general, like that's why I feel so glad about the situation that I have with Mike going on. Like we call ourselves a band, but it's just the two of us. Like the Black Keys, just like two guys. So it's like having been in bands before. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yes.
It's such a pain in the ass with everybody, having to have their input, and then on top of that, you get like this thing of like, oh, everybody's the same, important, but not really.
No.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Hats.
Fuck! I saw a bug on the wall. It's not my tablet. It's a little pizza. It's a little dot.
It's a piece of lint on the.
I was like, but what the fuck?
I hate to keep bringing up the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but so John Frusciante is the most talented thing to ever happen to him, besides like Kiev, like the Israeli guy, and Chad Smith is the coolest one in the entire band, because everybody tells him like, you're great. He's like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, man, you're a great drummer. He's like, are you sure? Have you heard another band? And they're like, yeah, no, but you're a good drummer. He's like, my meter's all over the place. I play like I'm high on meth, and I haven't done meth in 20 years. Yes, he's a real person. He's a real person that's annoying as fuck, but he's still a real guy. I told you my story about how I sea-bassed him.
Yeah, but stuff like that will always give you like even if that's not your shit, you'll always be like, I do appreciate them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we met Flea, met him for like a second. You know Coral Sky or whatever the fuck it's called now? You know how like on the sides of the stage is kind of like the wings or whatever? And you go up on the sides. Mm-hmm. And we were over there, and he was getting ready to go out to do like a 20-minute. It was like an intermission, and then he was going to go out and do like a 20-minute Flea bass thing.
Yeah.
Things like, I don't care. about? Whatever the fuck he said. And he was like standing there getting all hyped up, and we kind of turned a corner and like walked right up on him. It was me and a couple of guys that were in my band. I want to say this kid Ryan, and I don't know who else. We were on a lot of shrooms and shit, but we were just like, "Oh fuck, you're Flea," and he was like, "Yeah," and he hugged us all real quick, and then ran onto the stage.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, but then we're like, oh, and then we're like, oh, he was so fucking sweaty, bro. Like he hugged my homeboy first, and I think it was Ryan.
He was just covered.
Guy in our band, and he like had sweat on his mouth. He was like, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad you dabbed him off first before I hugged him, because I was pretty wet from his ass.
Oh, that's actually like, that's fucked up, but it's funny. Yeah. He's a human, which is kind of cool. Like he's a weird human.
That I'll always love. You know, Red Band from the early years of the Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Red Band. A lot of people talk shit about that guy for whatever reason. I don't know.
I don't know why.
The internet.
Yeah.
One of the again, my band FLA, like 10 years or so ago, the Palm Beach Improv. He came outside and he saw I had a rape choke shirt on, and Rogan was doing the rape choke bit, and it was literally a coincidence. It was like a jiu-jitsu shirt.
Yeah.
Fucking the rape choke is like when you grab somebody's throat while you're down in the mouth. And fucking, he was like, "Oh, did you make that for this?" And I was like, "No, it's just a jiu-jitsu coincidence shirt." And he's like, "That's hilarious." And he took pictures with us. He signed my shirt, and he like
That's
hung
awesome.
with us for like 30-40 minutes.
Oh,
and
that's
I had
cool.
this fucking destroyer cake that I made, and I was like, "Buddy, you want this? I got this cake." And I was like, "It is not to be fucked with." And he goes, "I gotta fly tomorrow, and I wouldn't eat it tonight because I gotta,
Yeah.
be places in the morning." And I was like, don't feel weird about it. I was like, I appreciate you just saying it honestly. And he's like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, people get upset, they get their feelings hurt. And he was so cool, so easygoing. He was like, "Oh, what do you guys do? Oh, we're like musicians, whatever." And he was like, he rapped with us for like 20 to 40, and then he was like, "All right, I'm gonna go back and fucking link up with her." Oh, he's done hugging everybody and their mother. Fucking, that was it. But it was like one of those things where it's like, man, that's a cool human moment. Same thing around Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo.
I think that he was like that because you were like, it's not a problem. I'm not forcing you to like do my drugs,
No, yeah.
Like,
some people get weird.
That was the same thing with Chad Smith. That, like, he was like, "Do you want a picture?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I'm not really a fan." And he was like, "Let's hang out." And I was like, "I'm not a fan. Like, you seem like a regular nice guy, but I'm just not a fan." He's like, "Oh, that's why you're cool." And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm trying to get drunk because I don't know anybody here.
I've done that where I actually tried to be cool about it, and I felt like I looked like more of a dick.
Yeah. I like genuinely didn't want to talk to him, and he was trying to cut people in line to the bathroom, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! I gotta pee really bad. I've been dodging you and drinking all night." And then he just talked to me while I was trying to piss, and I just didn't pee. It was terrible.
When you have a moment where you're just being genuinely nice, and you end up, butting up against somebody who's like you don't even realize is like
that's
special in their world.
That's my like entire life of living in Florida. When everybody's like, "How did you work for this guy? How do you know this guy?" Once again, like we talk about all the time when people are like, "How do you know this guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, I treat everybody the same." That's literally it. "Oh, I treat everybody the same." I'll judge people like in my brain at first, but then like the rest of my brain will be like, stop being an idiot.
With them about it.
Well, no, my whole thing is like the rest of my brain will be like, stop being a fucking idiot and like go say hi or something. I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." Just like talking to myself like an idiot. Like, "Yeah, okay. Hey, what's up?" And the person's like, "Were you talking to yourself?" I'm like, "Oh yeah. Like whatever. I'm just weird." And they're like, "All right. I guess I'm talking to a weird guy." Yeah.
But being vulnerable like that, it's hard, but it's good for you.
Yes. The more you do it, the easier it is. That's why, like, I understand when people talk about stand-up. They're like, "Yeah, man, like you got to do it more, and then like it'll be easier because like
and it'll
just
make more sense."
Yeah, just introducing yourself to people, like. And the other thing too I've noticed is like I don't want to do stand-up, and people say I should do stand-up, but I don't want to do it because I know I'm not as funny as those guys. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Yeah, but that's a skill set. Like,
Exactly. No, that's a thing.
You develop it into being as funny as you want to be.
exactly. But like, so, like I've already tried to do the stand-up thing, and I made myself laugh at how much I didn't make the audience laugh, or how uncomfortable I made them on purpose.
That's
Like,
funny. That's almost like more of a stand-up thing to do, is to like
yeah,
make the audience. That's some Bill Hicks, Patrice O'Neill type shit.
I literally got thrown out of my second and my
You know what?
last, my
Those are two
second and
patron
last.
saints.
Yeah,
Fuck Carlin and what's his name, Pryor, who I think are great, but I think for me it's fucking Hicks and fucking Patrice.
yeah, because they want you
That's
to
my Carlin and
feel.
Pryor.
I like that. I like them because they want you to feel all of the emotions. Like you're not
And
just
they
there to
don't give a
laugh.
fuck if you don't like it or not.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't give a fuck if you don't like it or not. Stanhope is another. I
Stanhope
was
doesn't make me uncomfortable in the way that he's trying to make me uncomfortable.
no.
Stanhope makes me uncomfortable with how much I can relate to him.
That's the difference between a Stanhope fan and like a comedy fan or whatever. Because okay, so we were at the West Palm Improv before they remodeled it when it was like smaller,
Yeah, yeah,
and Stanhope wasn't quite the Stanhope that he is now, but he
yeah.
was still like well known.
You
in
know
the
who he
comedy
was, yeah.
world. Yeah, we knew who he was big time.
Yeah.
Me and Tom went to see him. He might have been my one of my guitar players too, but we had a nice table. We were hanging. He in depth went into a daydream that he had while like drinking wine and on Xanax or something of that nature, while watching Sunday morning football games or whatever, about like the hamstrings and ass muscles of this like lineman.
Yeah,
He imagined like butt fucking this lineman,
dude.
and he slowly, articulately, meticulously, graphically describes like shoving his semi-hard, kind of spongy, and he describes, and like that, like you're not quite in the mood for sex hard on that he's talking about too. He describes it so well, like, and he talks about like shoving his dickhead past the cheeks and feeling the ass hair and like breaching the rectum, and like he fucking the room is completely divided. People are either like me and Tom were like laughing so hard, like the back of your head hurts really bad. Like
you're like wheezing.
Like, Euro stimulation for 2 hours after this. Like I laughed so hard, like seizure laughing. And then there's people who are like horrified and silent and like leaving.
Horrified.
Fucking, dude.
That's like my life. That's my
one of those moments
entire life.
Well, I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that.
Like in person.
So many times in person. No, less in person, frankly.
Yeah.
Less in person. In person, you're a lot more sociable. But in writing, because
Recently.
you write the way you would speak it, the difference is people don't read it that way. Like,
yeah, people that hear my voice.
In your dry humor tone.
Yes.
And people construe it however they construe it. And that happens. That's like the fucking curse of the internet, though.
But like, there used to be no difference.
Monologue is always gonna.
But there used to be no difference between my internet speak and my real life speak. So that's like been most of my life, is me just saying something and literally half the people going like, that's hilarious, and the other half going like, do we need to call the police? Were we informed of like something illegal? What happened? And I'm like, oh man, like just fucking laugh. Shit's funny. Oh, we can laugh? You don't know us. I'm like, cool. Well, I'm gonna go fucking hang out with these people. Like that's what
I feel like that all the time. Like we're gonna. Oh, by the way, when you visit. I didn't realize it, but I thought it was on Saturday morning, but it's Sunday morning. We have a brunch that we're going to go to.
Okay.
So we're just going to eat with some people.
Your brother's watching and hanging out with us, by the way.
What's that, Mario's around?
Yeah.
Yay, Maggie. We should have had him come on. Fucking,
It's never too late.
Right.
Fucking... Responding?
But anyhow,
Typing
what
words?
was I saying? I forget completely what I was saying.
Brunch time.
No, it was in relation to something else. I completely forget now. But that's what happens when you smoke the weed and you don't sleep for a couple days.
Yeah.
Dad life! My wife had a presentation this morning. My wife had a presentation this morning, and I was doing free voiceover seminars online all night.
Oh my.
And fucking... reading up on how to work the Adobe shit so that I have somewhat of a basis when you set it up for me, and fucking I fucking looked at the clock and it was like 3:45. My kid wakes up at 6:20 for school, and I was like,
How do I? Can I add a person to our call?
oh, is this possible? I think we, because it's a room, right? I think we can.
Yes.
I think we can. Mario, you have Discord, right? If you don't have Discord, get on Discord, and then when you're on Discord, shoot Mike your name and shit, and then we'll see if we can add you.
I don't know how to do that in individual calls like we're on.
We'll try. We'll just try.
Oh, fine. I'm looking.
Has he been on Discord with us before, or did he do Facebook before?
I believe he did Facebooko.
So, Junior, if you have a Discord...
I can add friends.
You can't?
I can.
You can't?
So,
yeah. Very nice.
I see it was in different box.
Number 3 prostitute in all of Miami.
Oh, yes. But I think we were talking about how, like, so, like, I don't know why... And we were also talking about this. I don't know if it was on the podcast. Like, when I tell people to go, like, because people ask, like, you and I, like, how.
Oh yeah, we were talking about
like
verbiage
anything
and the way it comes across.
Yeah.
Text. Yeah.
But like, I'm still dry in person. So like when
But it's different.
But
the
no,
tone is different. The vibe that comes off is different.
But
and you can't defeat people's internal cunt.
So
they're already a cunt in their head.
So here's the thing, like, I'm very like aware of the people that are around when like we're out. So there we go. I could have guessed that Discord name, Mario, by the way. He sent me his Discord name. I could have guessed it. Really easy.
Bark.
Hey. Don't dox your brother. I'm just kidding.
Is that doxing?
I don't know.
I'm AR2D2. What's up, son?
Oh, there we go. Boop. Paste it.
Matter of fact, Novaloza, you gotta find me a little picture of like a fucking R2D2 with like a bunch of weapons and shit. That's what I want for my fucking picture.
Okay, I could make it if you.
AR2D2, just AR like a R2D2 Rambo. He's in all the Star Warses and he lives just hacking computers and shocking bitches.
It'll take like decades long breaks of being alive over being like awake too.
Yeah, because he's a robot. He's got shit to do and fucking hypersleep and shit.
Yeah.
He's got riffs to trip.
I sent you the friend request. Friend. Yeah, friend.
Very nice. Request of the friend. Yeah,
if I sent your address and phone number, that would be doxing. I understand doxing. All right, he's there.
I feel bad for anybody who tries to creep up on my house.
Do that. All right, so things are happening, and also Discord is gonna look weird for a minute.
Shit. We got dots.
And then I'm gonna have to pop this out. But now we look weird for a minute while I fix things over here. People can see you, and that's about it right now. I don't know if he's
For everybody watching, all other of you, hey!
Hey, he's
Berk.
here.
Looking a little like Bork tonight. What's up, brother?
Bork.
No sound from Bork.
No sound at all.
We have no noise
No
from the
sound
mouth of
coming
you.
from your mouth.
No sounds from the mouth of you, Bork.
Oh yeah, it's just no
Check
sounds.
your mic. Are you muted? In the bottom left-hand corner. In the bottom left-hand corner.
There's no plug. He's not plugged in. See, look.
Oh, he's not plugged in.
See, look. He's...
Okay. Very Wile E. Coyote tonight.
Yes.
He's Yodi Dango tonight. Yodi! Wody, wody. Yodi, yodi, wody! Still no sound.
Damn it, he clearly said, damn it.
Yeah, clearly you said damn, but no sound still. This fucking coffee tastes like a chocolate milk. It's bad news. I gotta stay away from these. I can only buy one can at a time.
Well, our screen problems are fixed, but
our audio problems are just beginning.
he's back.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hello.
We can has
There
hear
he is.
you.
The kid himself, Bork Dango,
Bork.
coming live from Western Florida, bringing an air of loyalty and regality that only a canine of the species could bring. Hello, Bork. How are you? What is it like there on site? You're there in the eye of the storm.
Oh, well, I can tell you right now that it's very hot down here. And just incredibly humid. I don't know how to say this, but like I walked outside and
Oh, I could
that's
see.
what happened. Yeah.
And that's why
Double
you're
knows
there.
what I'm talking about. He's about 70 miles north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the weather here in Atlanta, Georgia
7
is
miles?
extremely Baptist.
That's what I hear. Southern Baptist, though, specifically.
Well, there's like
Yes.
3 different, very specific kinds of Baptist.
You're in the deep south to the north of us, and we are not in the south.
No, you're in the North Caribbean.
We are very much in the south. Have you driven?
You're in the North
up
Caribbean.
Belgrade?
If you,
No,
when
no,
you pass,
we are not in the south. Like the south
you're
is
not.
above us.
You're in the north. You're in the North Caribbean.
The south stops at like what's
Tavares.
at like St. Augustine. Like that is the bottom of the south.
Tavares, further south. Tavares.
Yeah, a
'Cause,
little bit.
You have parts
Maitland.
of the coastline that stay Floridian.
That's true, yeah.
But when you're inland, when you're in Gainesville and shit, that's fucking.
Yeah, that's true.
And Ocala.
Speaking of Gainesville, now that I have both of you here, this is actually something that we should discuss. One of my favorite campsites in the state of Florida is in Gainesville, and if we want to plan something for the fall, we should start planning it now. In
Okay.
Gainesville is a place called Payne's Prairie Preserve.
Well, that sounds like a great place. Pain.
Well, no, Payne, but
Okay.
but it's fucking I think that's. But
Like,
anyway, it
like
might be like.
Naruto.
But no, but what do you call it's fucking beautiful. They have the last naturally occurring, it's very small, but herd of bison in the state of Florida and in the
Oh,
south
that's
at
cool.
all. And there's fucking what do you call wild horses that reside on that land that go back to the Spaniards that came.
That's
That's
cool.
cool.
And like the normal deer and gators and black bear and shit, there's a campsite that's like a 2-mile hike into the woods, and then there's like other campsites that you can just drive right up to depending on how froggy you guys feel. I'm always down to fucking go for the deep dark bullshit.
I'm
I was-
usually about mid-frog.
Well, I was pretty sure Tom was not going to be my friend anymore after the first time that I took him down there. So are you guys frozen or am I frozen?
Oh, you
Are you
probably.
frozen?
You back?
didn't notice.
We were fine over here.
Oh,
And
you guys
and-
were frozen to me.
And you
Oh,
were
really?
not frozen to us. So
Oh, okay.
I think if we were fine, and you were fine for us, and we're like, "What do you mean we're frozen?" It sounds like something on your end. Just a, basic
I'm-
troubleshooting.
I'm taking a guess and saying that Drew's home internet is either experiencing issues between the modem and the
We
service
just upgraded
provider,
it, thankfully, but I am in the
Or-
basement.
or
And in
between.
a sound dampened basement, so I'm sure the signal's dampened as well.
Oh, are you running Wi-Fi into the basement?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is running
Okay,
Wi-Fi
well then,
into the
then
basement.
there we go. Now we know exactly what's
I
going on.
said to run cable.
I
I
will
don't have.
totally.
I'd have to run it all the way upstairs and shit. But
Yeah, it's still much better than Wi-Fi.
so then what I'll do is I'll buy a giant cable, and my wife actually does that when she has like big shit for work that she has to do. She gets a
Mhm.
giant cable and just slings it from her office across the house to the
Yeah,
living room.
that's
Well,
And it's like a
listen.
fucking
Could
booby
do.
trap.
here's what you
And since we do this at night, it wouldn't be that hard to do.
Here's what you do, Drew. Okay.
What-
You buy
Tell me what
one.
to do.
You buy one of those gigabit power adapters, right? That plug into the power on the wall, right? And you run the cable to it in the office where the modem is, right? Or the room where the modem is. And then you take the other one, the sister of it, you run down to the basement, you plug it into the wall, and you can run a cable from it to whatever you're plugging in.
I don't know what that is.
I didn't understand
But-
that either.
It's Ethernet over your power over the
I
over the
Oh,
power
that-
in your house.
Oh,
I
that
do
one?
have.
That's cool.
I do have those little fucking things. My daughter used to say they were helicopters. They like got little arms on them, and in the middle of them, it's like what do you call like a little blue circle, and it like boosts the Wi-Fi signal.
Oh, the
We have
signal
one in the
boosters?
basement and one upstairs.
Okay.
Similar to that, but it looks like bigger and it's got arms and shit.
So basically, Ethernet goes in here. This goes into the
Oh,
wall.
I see what you're talking about.
This goes into the other wall in the basement, and this comes out. And I would give you these, but they're old
No, I can buy
and
them.
relatively slow.
I got money, bitch. I'm a grown up.
I pay my bills. What's that meme with the two 600-pound
I own
life?
property. We got 7 bedrooms in this bitch. What's up?
I was gonna say, like, you could pay somebody to run the cable through your wall, which is like real cheap to
That's
do.
what actually. I'm just waiting for my wife to get super fed up with like having to run the cable herself because we just upgraded our internet and I had nothing to do with it.
How
I
new is
wanted
your
the internet
house?
upgraded. What's that?
How new is your house?
It's like maybe 8 years old because it was like 5 years old when we bought it.
It might already have like networking in it.
Some contractors suck about that.
You can tell me when you come visit. But listen,
Yes.
off of the internet. Jesus.
We're on the internet.
But off of the subject.
No,
of
but
the
we're
internet.
on the internet. I don't understand. I'm just kidding.
Who's on
First? Oh, did you see that happened? That there was a guy with the last name who
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
plays baseball. It took like
That's
I was reading it was
It's like
like
100 years.
yeah, it took like 120 years for Abbott and Costello's joke to happen, but it
That is
actually
awesome.
happened.
That is actually that's like heartwarmingly awesome.
Yes, I'm gonna have to pull that up and like share it to Facebook. But yeah, it was hilarious when I
Funny
read
shit.
that. It was
so anyway, no.
an Asian guy.
So anyway, I want to get a plan going now and like extend an invite to friends of the show and like just friends or whoever we want to invite. We get a huge if we rent the rural campsite, the one that takes like 2 miles to hike to, we can rent the whole shit.
Okay.
And it's a big space. And now I will tell a story and you can decide based on this. So we rented the rural campground. We had some friends that were meeting us there who were pretty wildery and pretty good, with hiking and stuff like that. So they were fine. Tom and I got there. We're both overweight. I got shitty knees, but I'm a little bit of an animal. Like I'll just walk until the knees break.
Yeah.
I
Also,
don't.
it's 2 miles. It's not too bad.
It's 2 miles and it's supposed to be of a packed path trail. We get there, it's not quite 2 miles. It's more like 2.5, 3. But beyond that, it's not really a trail. It's a fire line. So there's like deadfall,
nothing.
soft sand.
Yeah.
It's just different terrain as you go. There's parts that are trail-like, and then there's parts that are like mucky. And we have these like tow wagons that are made for like Halloween, like towing your kid in it, like a folding wagon full of gear. And so the first trip, we each have a wagon. We each got heavy packs on and shit. And the first trip, we go like, oh, we'll make 2 trips because we didn't really anticipate the trip, so we didn't overbear the wagons. But Tom's wagon was still kind of like packed, like Tom packed it how he packed it, whatever. And it kept tipping over.
Like
so
he packs
kept
his
getting,
stomach.
Yeah. And
To the
he
brim.
kept tipping over and falling, and he was getting super frustrated, and he was getting like real aggravated and getting more exhausted because of the aggravation. And he got to a point where he was so angry he had to stop and take like a rage dump. He was like squatting in the tree line against this fucking semi-trail, screaming and shitting at the same time.
Oh no.
And it was one of the worst smelling shits that I ever smelled in my life. We were outdoors in the woods,
And you could just still smell it.
and you could still smell it.
Yes.
And fucking anyway, we got to the campsite shortly after that. I had wipes and stuff I gave it. He was almost like threatening not to wipe his ass, just like so that it's just out of rage, I guess. So he like wiped twice, and I was like, just take the wipes and use them as much as you need. He's like, just give me 2. Like he was so fucking angry. We get to the campsite, and I'm like, all right, let's unload. We'll get the tents up, and then we'll haul ass back down the trail with one cart, and we'll load it together, and then we'll pull it together. We'll alternate. And he's like, I'm not going back. Fuck that. And he had absolutely necessary medicine in his fucking backpack that was in the fucking Jeep. And I'm
he's
like,
still like, no,
gotta
not doing
get
it.
that shit. And there was shit we needed too. There was like our cast iron and shit was in there, like some heavy shit too. And I was like, Tom, we gotta get it. And he's like, I'm not going back. I don't give a fuck. I may not go back until the day we leave. And I was like, what? Because we're gonna be there for like a few days. And fucking, so I go, all right, then you at least fucking set up the tents, okay? Clear the air, like take a break, take as long as you need, because I'm gonna be an hour or so or more. Fucking take the break that you need, clear the fucking spots, the tent beds, and fucking put the tents up. And he like flicked me off, and I flicked him off, and I hit the trail. And fucking when I got there, our friends were at the parking lot, and fucking I hiked back with them. And actually friend of the show, Lumbercat, who was on an episode last season. She was the friend who one of the friends who was there, her dad and another friend. And we fucking dropped acid while we were out there, and it was fucking awesome. So we're out there, Tom's furious for like 2 days. He's just in his tent. He just like comes out to eat occasionally, looks at me like through like angry eyes, and fucking crawls back into his tent. So second day, me and my friends are like, oh, we're gonna take some acid, whatever, walk around the woods. There's these big observation towers you can go to where you can like see where the horses and the bison might be and go check them out or whatever. And as we're walking through this like pretty thick woods, like really thick woods, thick that you wouldn't expect to see people, we saw an entire Filipino wedding party. And I'm talking like dressed to the nines, like, you know what I'm talking about, like black church, like dressed super well with all kind of shit, and fucking taking pictures. And we like emerge from the wood line like with the acid sweats and the wild eyes, and these folks are like taking wedding shots or like pre-wedding shot, you know, like all the girls or whatever for the wedding. And we're just like, sorry. Like,
just go right back into the
fucking. But it was so surreal. Like as we're walking down the trail, fucking this dude who we're with was like, Denny was like, is this a fucking Filipino wedding party? Like, it was like completely, because somebody had to say it out loud. I don't think
like,
everybody was certain that that's what we fucking saw. Like, but yeah, and then we had to walk back by them again as we headed back to the woods. It was really funny, and it was one of those times too where we get to the observation thing and it's a weekend, and so like there's people and there's like families and kids, and I'm like, this is not where I should be. This is not the place that I should be at all. Like, fucking, let's leave. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Like, fucking, I'm just like walking back into the woods past the Filipino wedding party. Like, sorry. Fucking, like, fucking, hey, man. But that spot, I would like to go back to again and spend a little more time there, because the hanging out with Tom and like kind of like treating him like a baby deer for like a day or two. We didn't get to hike as much as we wanted to, and there was other stuff going on that we didn't get to do as much as we wanted to. But I would like to go back with this crew and fucking spend a couple of days out there camping, and we can record out there too. We can bring batteries and a generator or whatever, a little mini generator, and record shit. I would love to plan that, and we should start planning it now for the coming fall.
I might be busy.
It's I'm gonna be busy.
No, I might be busy. Like, not be able to leave for a couple days. Kind of busy.
Oh yeah. So, okay, we'll play it by ear with that. Yeah.
Maybe tune into the podcast in a couple weeks and find out why. I have to go real quick. I'll be right back. It has nothing to do with the thing.
After these
I just have to
messages,
go.
you'll be...
No, you guys keep
Right.
talking. I'll be right back.
Denizens of the cosmos, you're watching the only screen delicatessen podcast. Novaloza will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Right back. What have you been up to, Junior?
I have basically been working at First Presbyterian doing their live sound for all of their events.
Cool.
Been getting about 2 or 3 days a week from them. Little money here. Been DJing at the House Lounge, doing their stuff. I'm gonna be doing their karaoke
Nice.
week after next. We're gonna be starting that up. I have some stuff next week that I'm doing for them as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, just
Making moves consistently.
yeah, keeping the tail commissions going, and I got myself a new synthesizer. Behold, the Korg Op6
That thing
frequency
looks-
modulation synth.
You know what it makes me think of? Like a giant microchip.
It basically is.
It's what it looks like to me, like a big giant microchip.
You know,
Hey.
you know all those soundtracks like Vangelis and stuff for like Blade Runner.
Mhm. Dude, you know what I've been really super getting into lately? Fucking Jedi ambience. Have you listened to any of that?
I have not, but now I need to.
You can even just YouTube random Jedi ambience fucking tracks, and it'll be just like these cool meditative or like weirdly, it's almost like House was a Tibetan monk. Some of them, it's interesting. I like it. I think you would dig it. I mean, I thought of you when I was listening to it recently.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. Oh yeah, Novaloza. Korg Op6. Isn't it sexy?
What did I miss?
Giant keyboard.
Nice.
Korg Op6.
A Korg.
It
That's
looks
my-
like a giant microchip. Hey, not to completely derail off of the music thing, have you guys both seen the Star Wars movie Solo?
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Eh,
I loved it.
With
I fucking loved it.
I mean,
I don't know why
didn't hate
people
it.
shit on it.
I don't
I
hate
don't know
it.
why
It
people
wasn't a
shit.
bad movie.
It was so fun.
Childish
it was-
Gambino is a great actor.
I enjoyed him as fucking a young Lando. The kid who played Han Solo did a great job.
That was did you hear Harrison Ford talking about him? He was
No,
like
but
he was like maybe he'll just play he's so good at playing him that he said maybe he'll just play young me in all of the movies like that like reoccurring movie things about with
but
him.
it's just
You
like
know what?
people shitting on that kid because he doesn't look enough like Harrison Ford. But he
Harrison
played-
Ford defends that guy a lot.
But he played Harrison Ford-ish enough without you know what I mean? Like without overkilling it and making it like a caricature.
Character exactly, yeah.
Can we have a movie with Tobias Beckett and fucking Rio fucking whatever, the guy with 4 arms? Fucking the
Yeah.
guy that's the Jon Favreau voices?
Yes.
Can we have that movie? That's the movie I want to see. I want to see Woody Harrelson running a fucking crime crew in Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of guy with 4 arms, did anybody watch Mortal Kombat?
I
No.
did. Actually, we had like a,
I was-
movie night kind of thing.
I was
It was great.
So here's what I'm similar to Andrew here with complaining about people complaining about that movie. Number one, it's a movie based on a video game.
That
Hey.
is very true.
Karate movie.
But the original movie was based on a 2D
It's a karate
If you're
movie
looking for plot.
Fighting game.
look
from a
for-
karate
Exactly.
game.
Yeah, if
and
you're
a karate movie.
if you're looking for like, oh, it was a terrible movie, it's like,
Yeah.
bitch. If you're looking for
Go watch Citizen Kane, bitch.
yeah, well,
Fucking go watch Apocalypse Now.
everybody that liked it, or everybody that didn't like it, I'm sorry, that was complaining about it. Whenever I talk to those people about movies,
Oh, no, sorry.
your mom's a hoe. No, whenever I talk to those people about movies, they're like, my favorite movie's Tombstone, and I'm like, I understand your favorite movie is Tombstone. One of my favorite movies is Tombstone, but for a much different reason than it's
A lot
probably
of
your
good
favorite
movies,
movie,
man.
right? But no, like they're like, it has to be
My favorite
Tombstone or
movie is
nothing.
Tombstone because of Val Kilmer. Young
As-
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer is
Come
the
on.
best character actor besides Daniel Day-Lewis that exists in
He's
American
up there.
cinema.
He's for sure
That's
up
good to
there.
me.
He's for sure.
And
I would
also
say
John
I would say
Goodman. I know, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's like,
You
he's
just
up
sent me a
there with
clip
the
of John
tops.
Goodman that made me like fucking wanna like fucking take over the world, dude.
Dude, John
Fucking,
Goodman's
like,
a
that fuck
fucking
you money
G.
clip was great.
Yeah, man.
And John Goodman
Oof.
has a thing that as a big guy I appreciate because he has that same John Candy-esque quality where he's a fat guy, but he's also masculine. Like he's not so fat that he couldn't like sock somebody in the head. He's a fat guy, but he seems like he could get some pussy. Like he could fuck your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he could.
And
pull
she
some
would
pussy.
talk about it. She'd be like, "Oh,
Fucking-
Mr.
she'd be psyched.
Goodman's coming
She'd be
over
psyched.
again tonight."
And on top of that, if you just go through the shit that he's done, you have not seen the motherfucking Righteous Gemstones.
Oh my god.
It is so good. Danny McBride is a fucking underrated, fucking amazing writer, and fucking they play an evangelical fucking family that runs a big mega church so well, and he because he doesn't make fun at it. It's so good. My grandma watched it with me and was like, they're not making fun of Christianity, and that's why I liked it. They were making fun of the people, not their religion. And it's like there was nuance. The dude is the shit.
He is great. I just
Oh, my other brother and sister text me.
the person that everybody says is better than all of those people is like Johnny Depp. And I'm not saying Johnny Depp isn't a great actor. I'm just saying
Johnny Depp's like Jack Nicholson. He's good at playing that one guy.
Yeah, and Will Smith. Will Smith is great. That's another.
Will Smith is great at Will Smith.
That's
and,
another person. People are like,
you
Will
know who
Smith's a
else
great
are-
actor.
And you know what happens though? Some
Oh.
people, they have early parts of their career where they can do different characters, and then they get either too old or they morph into this one thing. Like it happened to Walken. It happened to Pacino. It happened to De Niro.
You know
De
who-
Niro's just like
You know who
that's
wants
De
to
Niro
do?
now, every movie.
You know who wants to do other stuff, but like even he's like,
John C. Reilly.
I would take a script from an unknown writer.
John C. Reilly's a really
it could
good
get to
character
me.
actor though.
But I'm saying no, he wants to do different stuff, but he has never been able to do anything different in his entire life, his entire career. Is Denzel Washington? He's like, I would take a script from an unknown writer who has no credits or anything at all, but nobody will put anything but Denzel Washington type roles in front of me.
It's like you get to a certain
Yeah,
it's like
typecast.
but it's like being like
typecast.
a world champion. Like everybody's watching what you do, and they want to see certain shit.
But
You
he
know what I
said
mean?
he's got enough money now. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Whatever he's in, it'll sell.
He's got that
And
fucking money,
he's
though,
and he said like I would produce it, like
then-
I would help the guy like get it turned into
You got
like a
other
real
people-
script, and it would
like I
be
mentioned
great.
before,
I
like-
hope you know.
De Niro, Pacino, those guys, where it's like they kind of probably do have fuck you money, but it's almost like they don't know anything else to do with themselves,
Yeah, but
so they just keep cranking out
Denzel
movies.
Washington is making a plea for help. He's like if I blink twice, that means I need help.
Captive.
Yeah, he's like, please help me. I would like to not do this. He's like, I want to do a comedy just to see if I can do it. I want to do
right.
like a rom-com just to see if I could do it. And that's the thing, like, he's asking for it, and he's been asking for it for, I think, almost
You
15
could do like
years.
the Male when Stella got her groove back.
Yeah.
It'd be a gangster movie with Denzel.
Dude, I
When
think...
Stewart got his groove back.
I think like he's been asking, because I remember watching that interview with him in like 2005, so it's been like over 15 years he's been asking to not do serious like crime or serious drama, and like everybody's like, nope, still done.
Writing a script, and I will put it in his hand.
That's what I'm saying, like, but no, that the whole thing is like, if you can get it to me, I think he was like the captive thing is like, if you can get it to me somehow, I will produce the whole thing. Please, like, help me. Help me.
Trying to
Yeah,
Morse code.
he's Morse coding. Help me. I don't want to act
He's
in
one of
these
those
movies
guys,
anymore.
Too, that is has very eloquently told various media outlets like to fuck off. during
Yeah,
interviews
yeah.
and stuff.
With like
But
racism
he'll
shit
say he'll
too.
do it
Like
really
he's
eloquently with like beautiful poetic speech and be like, you
Him
know,
and Morgan
that kind
Freeman.
of question is really this or that. He'll break it down. Morgan Freeman's another one who's a gangster at that shit, smooth as fucking silk.
Morgan
Fucking-
Freeman
another
and,
guy
and Denzel
that
Washington
you don't
are
see
like
in a lot of movies and stuff who told a lot of people fuck you. Two guys, Joe Pesci and Harvey Keitel. Those guys
True.
have done a lot of fuck you. They did the opposite of De Niro and Pacino. When De Niro and Pacino steered into the Hollywood shit, those guys were like, I'm gonna go do a play. I'm gonna open a deli. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I got money. Chaz Palminteri's another one who's like, I'll write my own shit. Fuck you. Fucking.
Yeah. There's a lot of good
very
people.
Interesting to see the personalities that can thrive in that creative world.
I just like seeing typecast people like do comedy. Like my favorite version of that is Michael Clark Duncan, right? In Talladega Nights. He's like, that was my first thing in comedy, and it was great. Yeah, I know. Oh, it sucks. Dude, him and Ving Rhames
fucking trying to get the steak knife out of his leg. But
the bloopers are better than the actual scene because
oh my god,
of just that scene.
The fucking sponsorship section.
No, I mean the bloopers.
Candy.
There's the extended bloopers.
Where he's like, cut around it, make a plug.
They all can't stop laughing.
Yeah,
the actual length of that scene is so long, but there's so much laughing in it that it's condensed to like a tenth of the actual length of the scene.
That goes back to who we were talking about. Or I was talking about a second ago, John C. Reilly, dude. You can watch him in like fucking Gangs of New York. Where he's like the fucking Irish
Boogie
cop,
Nights.
and he does the whole New York Ireland accent. Oh, you guys are fucking getting into Boogie Nights, and then you got him coming out in Talladega Nights
and Step Brothers.
Step Brothers. If I tell somebody like, hey, like you want to like watch Step Brothers, and they're like, oh, I don't like that movie or whatever, like I can't. Like, all right, well, we'll remain acquaintances.
This
friendship can go no deeper.
This is the moment I almost like proposed to my ex-girlfriend. We were in Blockbuster Video when that was still a thing, and Step Brothers came out when Blockbusters were still around. We were
Is there still one? I think there's still one.
There's actually two. There's one in Alaska, and that's its own. Like that guy broke off, and then the only like corporate Blockbuster. So
basically, he just has the Blockbuster signage.
Yeah, like because corporate was like, we're not big enough to sue you, so you can just do whatever you want. He's like, sweet, I'm Blockbuster Alaska. But there's one corporate. Yeah, there's one corporate Blockbuster left, and it's like in the Northeast. They're all north, like in small towns where like nobody uses the internet.
What is it, like Maine or some shit?
There's one in Alaska the guy just owns, but then there's one that's still like Blockbuster that is a part of all the empty now Blockbuster buildings. But so we were in the Blockbuster, right? And we were getting ready to buy the DVD of Step Brothers.
Yo, talk about businesses that could have fucking had a comeback in the fucking pandy.
So here's the thing. This lady is like, oh, you don't want to rent that movie. That's a terrible movie. It was disgusting. And she starts describing how bad it was. And my girlfriend at the time was like, yeah, I'm not renting it. I'm buying it because it's a great movie. And the lady was like clutching her. Oh, God. I can't believe it. Why would anybody buy that? It's like, yeah, it's a great movie. And I was like, I love you. Yeah, we're buying it.
That movie alone, like just the throwaway dialogue in that movie, when they're fighting on the lawn and fucking Will Ferrell is like, my mother's being savagely attacked by a German Shepherd and there's nothing I can do about it. Like the throwaway lines, fucking, or when he's fucking
burying him alive,
and he's like fucking,
you'll wake
now, like all that,
you'll wake the neighbors.
Or when he's like, or when he's like,
I'm alive, Brennan.
It's okay that my Chewbacca mask isn't movie quality. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Like fucking.
That's the very last line of the movie. Yeah.
I forget her name. Talk about great character actors. The woman who plays
the therapist
shitty brother's wife.
Oh,
no.
Oh yeah.
She is fucking hysterical, dude. When she fucking fucks him real quick in the bathroom, and then she's like, "Stay holding, pony boy." And fucking pisses standing up like a gangster.
He's like, "Who are you?" She's great in like everything that she's in. And that's
she really is funny as fuck.
That's Gladys from the Scarlet Witch TV show, WandaVision.
Dude, she was in
she's
Parks and Rec.
Yeah. She was in that movie where Paul Rudd
She's done
and
serious shit too. She's played like single moms and shit, like really poignantly. She's really good.
She's actually good at serious roles too because she's so good at comedy.
Yeah, she's just a banging actress, dude. She's just a
Catherine Hahn.
But that scene,
yes,
she's a gangster. That scene though, where she tells him she's gonna ball him up and put him in her pussy, and she wants to feel his little curly hair in there, and every time, like, and he's just like, It's one of the best scenes. It's because you never get to see that dynamic where a woman is making a guy that uncomfortable. It is so fucking funny. His expressions, like, are. That's another thing too. Those two somehow embodied 10-year-olds.
Yes.
They totally acted like a 10 and a 12-year-old. Like, no fucking doubt about it. It was great.
I have an idea.
When he hits his brother and he's like, "You have punched the one that is called Derek." Fucking like, it's so good.
I have an idea. You know my my idea for a Will Ferrell football movie?
Mm-hmm.
What if Denzel Washington was the coach?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What was that one movie?
And he's like serious though, and he's still doing serious acting.
Yeah, but he's doing funny shit in the seriousness.
Yes.
Wasn't he the coach in a football flick?
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
High school and middle school
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
No,
yes.
Was it Friday Night Lights?
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't Friday Night Lights.
It was one of those. It was, that era.
Yeah, he was remember
the Titans.
It's two. Yeah. I mean, he's the football coach in Remember the Titans and Friday Night Lights. So yeah. Friday Night Lights soundtrack by Explosions in the Sky. I fucking love Explosions in the Sky.
You could intro him like he's gonna be the hero, right? Like he's gonna be this hero coach, but then he turns out to be a complete.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Gambling, alcoholic, degenerate.
Like Danny McBride
banging like $3 hookers.
Yeah, like Danny McBride is like Will Ferrell's personal coach. We were talking about that, right? But and he's being terrible.
Danny McBride could be like Danny McBride could be like an offensive coordinator or something like that. Like they have different roles in the coaching staff, and you create like this super shitty coaching staff.
Well, no, but that's the whole thing. Like Danny McBride's like, man, I know I ride you, and I call you terrible things, but you should hear the shit that he says to us in the office when it's just the coaching staff and him. I cried real tears, like oh god. Will Ferrell's like, what? He's like, I never made you cry.
Thick tears.
Thick tears.
Manly tears.
Thick manly tears. But I still cried, yeah.
You know, I feel like Novellozo might need to work on his delivery to do stand-up, but like Novellozo comes up with some hilarious shit.
No, I had great... my
writer.
2 stand-up debuts were... I killed it the first one, but my friends made me think that I was going to die. And the second one, I was killing it, and I didn't like that I was killing it. So then I immediately switched into something that got me kicked out of kicked off the set. So like,
why did you sabotage yourself?
Because I didn't like the people. So imagine all the people, like all the boomers that would like talk shit about you, like for being who you are, right? And then you're making them laugh, and then I was just mad about it. So I switched up immediately into this joke about Eric Clapton's kid jumping out the window, and they booed, and my old boss who was running the show grabbed me by the collar and he said, "You're fucking out of here. Nobody says that shit about Eric Clapton." And I was like, "Peace, fuck you guys." And that was a joke I got from the internet. But the first show I've ever played...
Didn't Eric Clapton just come out with like a Keep England white rally?
Yeah, something like that. So like, of course they would like that shit. Of course they would like him. But like, my first one was like, I worked in this like, I was like in this call center / data entry place, but they mixed us together so the data entry people wouldn't talk to each other. So we were like spread throughout the call center. And like I'd sit next to like a different like person from Riviera Beach like every day, and they're like, "Man, you funny. You should come do the stand-up night over here at this black club." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna do that." And they're like, "No, you're real funny. We all go there. Like we all hang out with each other." And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "You should tell that joke about your shirt. Open up with that. It's great. It's funny. It'll kill." And I was like, "Okay." But I was like, "All right, I'll go." So I go there, and I'm wearing like this. I don't know if you know the Metal Man Demure Burger. Like I call him Demon Burger. I was wearing this like black metal shirt that was black with black shiny writing on it. And I was like, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mike. I hope you like my shirt. It's black on black, like most crime in Riviera Beach." My friends were silent.
Wow. For
like 30 seconds. And they were like, and I just started pouring sweat. And like I was drenched. And I just was like, I mean, that was supposed to be my big opener. And it was like 30 seconds, and it felt like a lifetime. And then they all started laughing, and the rest of the club started laughing. I was like, oh, whew. And then I went on with my set, and I fucking killed it. And then I went back to them, and they were like, oh. no, you thought you were gonna die. And they're like, we saw it. It looked like somebody was dumping water on you. Like, we could, like, that was funnier and shit. Because we were just gonna wait a second. But then we waited longer because you were, like, dying. And I was like, that was funny as fuck. That was like,
good friend.
dude, that was funny as hell. I was like, that was great.
That kind of shit is funny, though, man.
I couldn't even be mad at him. I was like, I understood it so
that is
well.
Actually, how you like learn like about each other's culture more when you like allow yourself to have those.
Yeah,
dude. Mario, you remember one of my best friends of all time, former training partner, former bass player of FLA, Gabe, fucking Swiss Army Gabe Stanley, and my boy Gabe. He's great, but he's like German Irish on one side, like Hungarian, but like white. You know what I mean? On the other side, he's like white as fuck. And one of my
I always wondered if he was Russian mob just a little bit.
He definitely, if you put him in a tracksuit, he looked like it. But fucking one of my favorite things, dude. One of my favorite things. He's on a ship often now. But one of my favorite things to do to Gabe back in the day when we would be rolling around Miami would be to go to like somewhere in Southwest or Hialeah or NMB where everybody spoke Spanish, somewhere where it was all Spanish and barely any English, and give him like a $20 bill and be like, yo, get a drink for me, a drink for you, get a pack of wraps, and tell him to put the change on fucking, or I'd be like, the change minus $2.50 for the tolls on the tank. So he'd have to like do the math and then like figure that out with them. And I would just sit on my car and watch as he would be like pointing at fucking different shit. There'd be times where they'd like just open the little fucking security door and be like, just pick which papers you want, like fuck, and like arguing and fucking like, no, dude, give me two back, two back, and watch that back and forth and over again until he fucking loses his mind. That shit was my fucking favorite thing to do to my white boy friends. I would do that to Ryan. I would do that, and like everybody's personality was like so different, which was what made it interesting. Like my buddy Jake, who was the guitar player in our band, was really like mellow. So he would just like, and he would like not care if it didn't work out. He would just take whatever they gave him, not argue about it. Fucking sometimes he'd come back with all the money, we'd get no gas. He was just not gonna fuck out went down. Gabe would just like, no, that-o, motherfucker, like fucking say some shit, dude. It was great. Those kind of moments where you get to like fuck with people. And I remember like Gabe's mom made like this stroganoff, and I was like, God damn, this shit is good, bro. Fucking, and we're like eating bowls of it after we were like training and stuff. Big fucking hearty thing of stroganoff. And he just like looks at me and he's like, that's what we do. That's white people shit. Fucking like, he's like, meats and gravies. That's white people shit. And fucking, he's just like.
That's why I love living
those moments with each other are great. Or he would tell me my grandparents' house. He's like, your grandparents' house fucking smells so Italian. I'm like, what? And he's like, fucking straight up garlic and basil. I smell
That's
it.
my
strong.
favorite
like,
smell. That's why I kept hanging out with one of my ex's grandmothers for like ever, just to like go over like when the door opens, because like the door's been closed for so long and it's been marinating, and then it hits you. Yeah. It's like that. I feel like, dude. I feel like the type of Spanish I am.
There is a cultural smell.
Yeah.
There is a cultural
smell. But no, I feel like the type of Spanish I am is like maybe Italian and not Spanish. Cumin. You know, like an Italian bordered.
Cumin.
No, I feel like.
Your mom always was making arepas in the morning too, so they had that like fry smell in the house going on, like that fry bread smell. Yeah. And like each house had its own. Like I remember my buddy Marner and George, they were like.
My house smelled like bleach.
I think they might have been Nicaraguan, but we were going over to their house, and Gabe goes, yeah, I'm going to Marner and George's house. I'm gonna fucking end up getting hungry. I was like, why are you gonna get hungry over there? And he's like, fucking smells all Spanish. Always smells like some shit's cooking. I was like, yeah, it's true. Spanish households always do kind of smell like some shit's on the stove. Like fucking, and it's great. I love that shit. You gotta like the benefit of getting to have a bunch of different buddies in your.
I don't like Korean house smells.
Kimchi smell, the sour kimchi smell.
No. That's not a kimchi smell. That's what everybody says. And then as soon as I step into a Korean house, I'm like...
My buddy used to say he had kimchi ice because his whole fridge of everything would taste a little bit like kimchi.
Yeah, I always say, I'm like, oh, you guys are fermenting fish? And they're like, oh, how do you know? And I'm like, this is not the first Korean house I've been into. Like, it is not a kimchi smell, because the kimchi smell is very... it almost
When we
smells
were in
exactly
junior
like
high-
fermenting fish. But like I know
Right.
the fermenting fish smell, a
Right,
Korean
right.
fermenting fish smell, and I'm just
Right.
like, where is it? And they're like, oh, it's just sitting on the table without a lid. It's fermenting without a lid, open in our house. And I'm like,
You know
yeah, I
what?
know. I
Speaking
know.
of fermenting fish, Tom, of Tom Eats It, we've been talking. I talked to him recently about a couple of different things to do for the Tom Eats It show, and he's gonna have a little time coming up to do some stuff. And
Was he gonna have that
has
Wisconsin?
volunteered- What's that?
Is he gonna have that fish that's made in lye?
Yes. He wants to have surströmming.
Yeah.
Oh.
The thing that they do in like
Surströmming.
Wisconsin and Minnesota. Oh yeah, actually, hey,
No,
wait.
that's lutefisk.
Lutefisk,
I think.
yeah.
Lutefisk.
I mean, it's just as bad. It's almost exactly the
It's-
same. Yeah.
So, but surströmming is supposedly like the strongest
Stronger, yeah,
smelling
it's-
fish. Like we would have to do that
stronger.
outside.
Yeah.
Like
Couldn't do that in
that would be an
anybody's
outdoor-
house.
No,
Yeah.
you wouldn't. I wouldn't like wish that on a locale. That's the
So-
kind of thing too, where if you,
well-
if you do that in like somebody's yard, that yard's gonna have raccoons. And
Oh,
possums
yeah.
in it the next
Well, I had a question actually because I was trying to think of. I think you might be. Like, do you know all of your uncles that like came over from Cuba, or did like a bunch of you guys like scatter?
There's
Oh,
like
God.
branches of the family, just like any other family, like, and it
'Cause-
just stretches out because Latins fuck everybody.
Well, no, because like I
Man
was
from Spain.
I was thinking of it like because you said your family went like
Latino
up to
flagpole is
Wisconsin,
big.
right, or whatever. Or
Say again?
like your family when like you said like your dad, right, and your grandpa.
Illinois.
Yeah. But like everybody went all up there, right? Like
Well,
from
they
Cuba.
came in-
Sound. Here's the sound of the Spanish landing in North America.
They
Okay.
came in, and because they were like the first waves of Cuban immigrants,
Yeah.
they got dispersed and like put in job programs and citizenship programs.
Yeah,
and shit
yeah.
Like that.
Because
So I
that's
think our grandfather got moved up there because of the Great Lakes because he had worked on
that's
and around.
that's
boats.
exactly like around the same time I was thinking too because that was
Yeah, like early '60s, I want to say.
yeah because that was exactly when my ex's dad like came over and y'all have the same last name. I know everybody, you're like, oh, that's like a super
Yeah,
common
Spanish
last
Smith.
name, but
Yeah.
like from Cuba and like from like I think around the same area of Cuba, so she's probably like your cousin or something.
I mean, it's an island. We're all kind
Yeah,
of cousins.
I know, but like
we're all
like
kind
a
of cousin fucking
but a
over there
closer
in Cuba.
cousin, but a closer cousin,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, but it's one of those things too, man. Where like, what do you call people change their names a lot when they came over. People would do
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then also, if you had roots that were provable to Africa, and you
Mhm.
came over in the '60s and '70s and shit, a lot
Oh.
of those folks would.
He
Would
broke
not-
out of jail with a bunch of guys with the same last name as him. I don't know if you have any relatives that did that and then floated over.
Getting out of Cuba was like breaking out of jail. you
Well,
know?
no, they broke out of jail and then broke out of Cuba, like in the same thing. So I don't
Not
know.
exactly.
I
We
don't
had
know
a
if
couple
that's.
different, but there was waves too. Like our family didn't
Yeah.
come over all in one shot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's I don't. That's why I don't know. I don't know.
And then
You
there's
know,
different
Grandpa-
branches because there's
Grandpa
like
was jailed. Grandpa was jailed because he was union steward and they tried to force him to break a strike.
That
there's a bunch of
sounds.
stories about that kind
yeah.
of shit that was
Yeah.
going on in Cuba at the time.
Uh,
But also like
The story of her dad being thrown in jail was like he was not he was wearing some unapproved
Every
piece of
family-
clothing,
yeah,
like
every
for the
family
region.
has a grandfather
Which
or
is
a
crazy.
tío or a dad that has a story of like being really, really shittily and unjustly incarcerated during the Castro regime,
Mhm.
especially men of a certain age. Anybody
Yeah.
that could like be seen as a possible dissenter and be, you know,
I think
of,
that
like,
was-
fighting age,
yeah.
like that. They were always like targeted heavily, and they wanted to break their spirit, man. That's what those guys did. That's what they did systematically throughout the policies that they enacted in Cuba since the 50s, the late 50s, early 60s. They gradually broke down the will of the Cuban people because you had literally like people who were fighting, and then when America pulled the backing, it was like a death knell for the revolutionaries that were trying to fight against
Yeah.
the communist regime in Cuba, and those folks had to just kind of like really many years of struggling to survive, which is what a lot of communist dictatorships utilize as a
Mhm.
control measure. If people are like worrying where their next meal is going to come from, a lot of the time they're not going to be able to mount an offense against a totalitarian government. The difference in America, which is why it's important that we remember this, is that we come from a wild place. Like the system that's put in place is a bunch of people with guns claimed the land and rode out west and kept killing until it was pretty
Andrew
safe
Jackson.
enough. Yeah, and that's a very like America's very, 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 very different in that way.
Yeah.
Than almost every other country in the
Well,
world,
what
where the basis of our nation is so entrenched in this like complete freedom that.
But I mean, a lot.
We take complete for granted. We have a whole generation of people who are opening the door to a potential communist ideology, and they don't even realize something as simple as owning a firearm or being able to utilize your internet when you want to, and things like that are things we take completely for granted in this country that the government does not have a control or monopoly on.
Fix your phone when it breaks.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you can't get it fixed, then you lose, points in your social, credit system, like they're doing in China and different places in Asia right now. It's really fucking creepy where we're going, and I don't think our peers and younger fully realize. I think the connection to that older generation who came from the gulags in Eastern Europe, who came from the fucking
not even older generations. Not even older generations. People our age from like Eastern European countries that experienced that type of stuff in our lifetime, escaping and coming over here, and then like people younger than them and their age saying like, oh no, they just didn't do it right. They're like, fuck you, they didn't do it right. They did it right, and it was terrible for me,
But just growing up in southern Florida, so I think Mariel was like 87 or 88, so that put me around like 4 years old, something like that, 4 or 5 years old. And then by the time those kids were growing up and stuff, I was like 10, 11, 12. Growing up in the aftermath of that world, like of what was going on in southern Florida at the time in regards to the immigrant populace coming from the Caribbean, in regards to the populace coming from South and Central America. Southern Florida has always been a Latin American gateway. You know what I mean? And so we had a very definitive shift in culture. Like I remember when I was in elementary school, it was like a bunch of Jewish kids, a handful of Spanish kids, a handful of black kids, and that was who was in school. And like a handful of, crackers. That was who was around in school. And then there was a big shift after like, kindergarten, first grade, where all of a sudden everybody was from the Caribbean, everybody was from South America, everybody was from Central America, and it was like the whole cultural paradigm changed. Whereas if a kid from Jamaica who grew up in a really hard spot, if you told him I'll kill you, he fucking thinks you mean it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you see kids who are from like the burbs learn really fucking quickly, like I'll fucking kill you, bro. And this kid's like, well, I guess I gotta kill you before you kill me because I don't want to die. So I guess I'll just smash you in the head with this fucking textbook until you're down, and then I'll just keep smashing you until I'm safe. And then you saw that change. And then by the time I was in high school in, West Palm Beach area, everybody, was from, again, like different parts of the world. And we had a lot of stabbings, and and it's like one of those things where like there's cultural aspects.
It's rougher almost everywhere else except for Canada.
Here,
except for Canada.
Look where I grew up and how just incredibly shitty the student body and the populace and the culture of it was.
Yeah.
Dude, you grew up in like a fucking movie, like a fucking like a high school fucking Mean Girl movie. Like it was, you had those kids were like caricatures.
Yeah.
That I remember. They were literally bully caricatures.
That's how I grew up in California. Like.
Yeah.
I totally relate to that. Like it's just
they weren't people. They were like cardboard. They were like cardboard cutouts.
There were such little substance and such little empathy that those kids had. And they were
it's
so,
crazy too. Like
hollow.
I went to school with like a bunch of like of like kids that like were also like musicians, like in rock bands. Like I went to school with the guitar player from Eve 6 and shit. And he was one of the most unoriginal, boring. Yeah. They went on tour. Exactly. They started when they were
like gingers
13.
and rock bands really gotta push it. Like they really gotta go for it.
They got famous when we were all 13, and I was just like remembering. I was like, so that unoriginal, basically like Green Day ripoff band a bad Green Day
We were
ripoff.
talking about that in a personal conversation the other night about like when punk rock began. The real like death rattle was
But,
that
like,
that era. By the time those guys were around, it was already.
It was
dead.
just weird watching these people that I went to school with that like you said, Mario, were like cardboard cutouts of each other and just boring, unoriginal, bland people be like successful in like in film, in TV, in music, and I'm just like, and in art, and I'm like, I shit out the stuff and I shit out and throw away the stuff that you guys are like now known for, and I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing as well as you in my art, you know? It was just weird. It's just really weird. I don't know.
I'm glad to be kind of from the sport world or the combat sports world because
Where
like,
it's based on your
there's
100%.
nobody who's like, why does it never happen for me? Why does everybody else get break? You know, like the dudes that are fucking killing it, man. Like you look at them like with reverence because like you know what their fucking effort that they're putting in. You know what their workload is like. You know what they're doing, or you know how talented they are to be where they are. So it's one of those kind of things, and you can't play that game of like I don't catch breaks, so I'm not handsome enough. It's like
you can see the work. You can see the work. Yeah, they demonstrate to you the work that they put in.
If you could survive with me for the first round, through the second round, through the third round, I was going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And because I never put in the hours for conditioning and cardio like I should throughout my entire fucking career. Into this stage of my life, I don't put in the hours for just general fitness that I should. And fucking, it showed. Like, I was talented. I could crack. I was durable. But after the second round, man, my tank was really on fumes. And I never got mad at other people for that. You know what I mean? Like, I had teammates who would be like my boy Gabe, who would be like, yeah, we should have done more rounds. And that's the beauty of that world. You can't like, that's the thing too about like this podcast shit or music shit or whatever. It's like, if you allow a big portion of your life to like be you getting comfortable with rejection of sorts, like it's so easy to try because it's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? It's not gonna go. Then I'll just try some other shit. Yeah, I'll just go. I'll keep trying shit that I want to try.
It's funny. The other kid that was like, he's the biggest like name in like aggressive inline. He was my bully until I was taller than him, and he was like one of the few people where I'm like, oh, he's not like everybody else. And like now he's had like 17 different lines of like aggressive rollerblades, you know. So like, and that was just like and the whole thing was, So I would get into conversations with these people like later on in life, like I'd go out there and like everybody's still around, and like and I'm like I don't think
so little of that era of life.
But I'm like it was traumatizing to me because I'm like I'm better than these people. Like I wasn't better at rollerblading than that guy. That guy literally was like the best rollerblader in the world for a long time. But like still he was my bully, so I fucking hated him. But like the only reason these people were being successful at all, it was a symptom of where we lived. Because as I started moving across the country and figuring out that everybody's kind of the same as far as like talent level, you know, like in whatever they're doing, and the only reason these kids were getting exposure is because we grew up in California where like literally there's people everywhere looking for the next big thing to exploit, you know. And because we lived in California, so like everybody was getting picked up for whatever. Like I got to
Albert
like
Hammond said it best.
It's like
it never rains in Southern California, but man, it pours.
I didn't even live in Southern California. I'm from Northern California, so like it's just California in general. People are always looking for that shit, and like I even got to like the second to last round of like being in the Mickey Mouse Club with like fucking Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera and shit because my mom was just throwing me and shit when I was younger, and I didn't know what the fuck what was going on, you know? I don't know, it's just weird because like I said, as you move across the country,
merit are important for kids, man.
Yeah, like I said, the same thing with bowling, like I told you when I was like in first grade. On a side note, my brother, as good as I was at bowling, he is a literal bowling prodigy. Decided he didn't like bowling, right? Like my stepdad is a professional bowler, and could have been his entire life apparently, but my mom held him back from his dreams because that's what she does. Anyway, so like my little brother, my little half brother, apparently bowling prodigy.
They'll tear down your dreams forevermore.
So when my brother was like, when I was like doing when he was the age I was when I was killing it in bowling, he was already better than my adult stepfather, right? So he's like a phenom of bowling. Quit bowling just like I did. Because he was like, oh, we all get trophies. Fuck this shit. Hasn't played in like almost 30 years. My stepdad gets him into a tournament in Las Vegas. He just won a semi-pro or a pro tournament in Las Vegas. Like, didn't bowl for like 20-something years, just with his friends and shit. Almost getting perfect games, just off of pure talent. And like now, my stepdad was like, you need to your life is in shambles. Let me just fucking take you to a tournament. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Almost like perfect games all in a row. Apparently he just is fucking killing it now. And I'm like, good, now he doesn't need to fucking wander around from house to house getting cheated on by his girlfriends and shit all the time. Like slaving underneath a fucking engine block. Because he's a great mechanic too. But yeah, side note, my brother, pro bowler now. And he just tried. He just tried one time. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the level of talent that people have, it like, he's actually talented. But, like, people that aren't as good as him are, like, get onto the scene because of where they are. Same thing with me and, like, all the people that I grew up with. They're fucking not funny. They're comedians. They're not good actors. They're actors. They're not good musicians. They're professional musicians. All these people, like, West Palm is the most concentrated source of music talent that I've ever seen in the entire United States.
A lot of talented
that
musicians, yeah.
are not, like, nationally famous. The other thing that's weird, because you and I were talking about this one time on the show, there's that, like, Grammy-winning producer that is out here somewhere. But there's, like, a ridiculous amount of songwriters in West Palm that just don't play music that have, like, #1 hits that they've sold to people, you know?
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
It's a very strange... Southern Florida in general is real weird. Like, I told you, we were playing... This was, like, early in playing music. In my, like, 20s still. And we were playing at a fucking gas station. Or not a gas station. We were playing at a fucking ice cream shop. It was Cream in Delray. It was the one on Linton Road. And this fucking dude... who like loved Clapton and shit. We did like a cover of like Tears in Heaven. He loved us and shit. And he was like, come to my ice cream shop. He saw us at like an open mic, and he was playing. His name was Jeff, and fucking he still owns Cream Ice Cream Shop in Delray. Go by and get some fucking ice cream.
Ooh, ice cream.
What do you call? He would let us play, and then this one night, this old dude comes over, and this dude has like the open old man shirt and the fucking loafers with no socks and the little fucking boating shorts and shit. And he's got the soy sauce colored fucking dyed hair, you know what I mean, that you can see the scalp through when the light hits it and shit. And he's like, fucking, let me see your set list. And I was like, all right. Like, and we had like a little set list jotted down. He was looking it over, and he goes, did you do this one yet? I was like, no. He's like, you mind doing it now? I was like, yeah, sure. And he put some cash in the fucking guitar case, and we jammed out. And it was just me and my guitar player. And Tommy Donuts was driving us around, driving our little PA system in his little white fucking Ford. And this guy's like, come to my house. Wrap up playing here and come to my house.
Side note, if you're ever in Florida for any business or any like music opportunity or something, and an old guy that looks like he's a Jimmy Buffett fan says, come to my house, you fucking go. Side note. You always go.
You actually, like, it's a requirement.
Just in South Florida. No, just in case it's a story like this.
Yeah.
So we pile into Tom's fucking truck.
Don't go alone.
We follow this guy. Oh yeah.
I mean,
and we were like, this guy's crazy. We're like 3 tatted up fucking goons. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I go alone. Like, that's just me.
Night. So we're go. We it's like one of those McMansions. If you take Linton all the way to the beach and then go right, one of those neighborhoods right on the water. And we hop out. We go in. It's a beautiful house, like marble floors, and it runs up a fucking like 150, 190-pound German Shepherd, like one of the biggest German Shepherds I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, it's a Schutzen dog, and it's a trained dog. And I was like, cool, man. It was friendly, but like you could feel how strong it was. It would like bring you a toy, and then it would bite down. It was like one of those Kong toys, and it would bite down on it and completely compress it.
Oh, damn, a
It
Kong?
was just a powerhouse of a dog. And
Damn.
as we're walking into this dude's house, my boy Jake, the guitar player, takes note. He's like, man, like, there's like some fucking expensive guitars just laying around, like on a dining room table, like one against the wall,
Yeah.
like randomly. And as we're walking through, I see records, and it's like Smokey Robinson, Commodores, Tiffany. And I'm like, what the fuck? And the dude's like, yeah, I'm a producer. My name's George Tobin. He just had us fucking jam for him a fucking few songs, and he talked to us about music. He told my guitar player he was nothing special, and he told me he was interested in me doing some stuff with him, but he wanted me to sing in Spanish. And I was like, he's like, can you sing in Spanish? And we actually were doing a Spanish song or two at the time. We would like a Buena Vista Social Club song, and we did it. And he was like, fucking, that's what I want. That's the market that's hot right now. Unless it's country music, it's a little Spanish music. And I was like, all right, well, we'll talk. And he didn't want my band. He wasn't interested in my band, so I just never pursued anything with him.
Incorrect thing to do.
Fucking, I was trying to be loyal.
I understand, but the Jimmy Buffett doesn't approach you just randomly, like, you know, like.
It was a nice ego stroke, if nothing more.
The crazy thing is,
looking back now, it's a cool experience.
That's not that was not the last Grammy Award winner that is trying to
we've still got some stuff to do with
work
that.
with Andrew. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I'm very excited to have those guys interested in my voice. It's been,
yeah, man. I mean, that's two. So I mean, it's not a coincidence anymore, you know. Yep. So.
And now that we're starting to release some stuff, maybe we'll get some more interest.
Yeah, man. The only thing is, the common thread is always, yeah, no, I want to work with just you, you know, like, no, just you. Which, I mean,
yeah. I think we're in a place now, though, maturity-wise, and the people that I'm working with now, and the person that I'm working with now specifically, if that was the case for a certain project, I don't think it would be an issue, because we have like an open kind of thing. So, he's got other projects he does too and stuff. So that's the thing too. Like in the past, I was in a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I'm in a band that is like open to other stuff, and he's open to. It's like we're a much more adult place. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people. It's great to have people that you work with that understand the concept of a rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
It's like.
But when you're young, jealousy and shit plays a big factor, man.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my old drummer recently. Mario, do you remember Josh Caricio?
Vaguely.
My drummer from FLA. Great dude. We were just shooting the shit on Facebook recently. We're going to try and catch up one of these days soon. And what do you call... he was one of those guys who was like... He was all about like anybody having a good opportunity. He was like, run, get it. Like, get it and throw the rope back when you get up to the fucking cliff. You know what I mean? Like, and...
That's actually one of the few guys that told me that when he told me that I was funny and I should do stand-up, I was like, he doesn't say anything ever. Like, maybe I should listen to him. Yeah, everybody else tells me that, and I'm like, you don't know what, like, good stand-up is. I'm not funny like that. And he was like, no, but you could be. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
He was a wild-ass, rock and roll, fucking sloppy, but somehow perfect fucking kilt-wearing drummer.
That's the nicest guy ever, too. Like, he's always, whenever I was hanging out with him, like, in the groups, he would always kind of be, like, hanging around, like, the group of guys that I would hang out in that friend group, and he'd just be smiling, and I'd be like, what's up, man? He's like, oh, no, I'm just enjoying your guys' company. I'm like, that's like a genuinely nice dude.
He's a really good dude.
Like, who says that, though? Like, oh, nothing. You guys just keep, I'm genuinely enjoying your company. I'm like,
yeah, he's one of those guys who, like,
that's
is
sweet.
Really, like, just who he is.
Yeah.
Who he is, you know what I mean?
It's a sweet guy, man.
That's the best way to live. Like, like moments are fleeting. Time is fleeting. Life is fleeting.
Dude,
just enjoy
I
it.
think about the impermanence of it all. Like, watching my kid, like she's 6, that feels like it happened in a week. Like it's crazy. Like I you know, your phone will hit you with this like, oh, this day 3 years ago, and it's like me and this little squishy baby walking around some hill somewhere, or her in a backpack on my back smiling, like, and now she's like, hey dad, I think it would be really cool if we went to the museum. I'd like to look at certain different kind of rocks. Like, and I'm fucking,
So I had like a weird realization like that too. Like my buddy that I knew when I worked at Guitar Center, his second kid turned 2 today, and I remember thinking it was crazy when his first kid, because his first kid's 6 too. Like I remember I was like, oh shit, you're having a baby, and now he's like in his Facebook post, he's like, oh my god, that went way too fast. Like it's crazy. I'm like, yeah, this is crazy.
It happens. It rockets by you, and you don't really expect it or realize how fast it's. Like
I feel like you're friends with him, Mario, because he was kind of all over. He was his family's very well off, so he's got a lot of friends that are like that play Magic that are from Weston. Jonathan Jimenez, but he lives in Wellington now. I don't know. He looks like a homeless guy on his face.
I'm not great with
but he's a tall, skinny
Jimenez
dude.
is the firearm manufacturer from the 90s.
Maybe that's his family, because his family, he came in to the drum department.
Cheap little burners.
Dude, no, his family came into the drum department, or he came into the drum department for years. He's like, I'm a guitar player, but I want to do like a studio thing. My parents will buy me whatever. And I was like, okay, buy this $10,000 electronic drum kit. And then he was like, okay. And then like a couple months later, his parents come in. They're like, okay, yeah, we're buying him this. And I was like, oh. And he's like, also, I want to buy this real kit that's also $10,000. And they're like, sure, whatever, man. And I was like, oh, you got money like that. All right. I mean, I was already friends with him. And that's not why I continue to be friends with him. Like, we genuinely have similar interests. Like,
sure.
Like, but I was just surprised. Because he doesn't look or act like he like has like unlimited money, you know, like he's just a good dude,
like a normal person.
Yeah, like, or doesn't have, but will inherit like a ridiculous amount of money, you know.
Not a bad place to be.
Yeah, his parents were like super like, okay, we're getting this for him, and you're sure that he seems really interested in this? And I'm like, I guess, like, he's been coming in here for years talking about these 2 things. I didn't think he was ever gonna get them. You know, and they're like, okay, good.
They didn't want to be frivolous with him, but they just wanted to make sure, hey, is it worth it? Like, does he really care?
I feel like that's probably like the most, that is the best like rich parents I've seen as far as like responsibilities go, and like transferring their like down to earth like values to their kids, you know, because like I said, I couldn't tell. I just thought it was some kid that was coming in that we shot the shit about video games for like days at a time. He would come back in after we were closed to talk about like old school video games. He's like, yeah, I'm going to school to learn how to make video games and like do all this shit. It's great. I'm like, that's so fucking awesome. And then we talk about music because we like the same kind of fucking music. And then just one day, boom. His dad comes in with his trophy wife and is like, yeah, man, here you go. It's crazy. But it's just, but I told you, I've grown up with so many like rich piles of shit that I've never seen like that, like good people.
Weston.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
Yeah, I can relate.
I grew up with like Palm Beach Island people in California. I know, man. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know how like.
Money can make. The thing about money is money only makes you more yourself, because then you can do things with your money.
Yeah.
So what happens is people who are really cool only seem cooler.
Yeah.
People who are not cool only seem shitty.
Yeah. Well, and when I say
that's a really great insight.
And when I say like those are the best parents I've seen transfer like real values to their kid, I mean like in my age group, because the type of people that are like
clip. You got a clip Mario saying that.
Yeah, that was a great clip. That's timestamp it. An hour 43 in.
I cannot wait. We can hire a guy
to like, clip it. When we say clip it, he's like, already done. But the people that I meet that are cool, that are like millionaires and billionaires, are like like a little bit older than us, like Gen Xers, right? Or like my dad's age. And I meet them the same way like I meet everybody, where I'm just myself and I don't judge people based on how they look. And they're just like, oh yeah, cool. Come out to my house. And they give me their address and I'm like, oh fuck. Where is it? How many gates do I have to go through? That last gate is all yours? That gate goes around the whole inside of the community. Yeah. That's like literally like the guy that I worked for like a year, where I definitely had a heart attack working for him. I go to the first gate of this place out in like way, way, way West Boynton. And the guy's, I'm like, where am I? And he's like, you're in a special place. Go ahead. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you got to go to the next gate. And I go to the next gate, and the guy's like, yeah, you're good. The guy at the first gate told me. And then the third gate, they're like, yeah, he's expecting you. He's laying drunk in his driveway right now. And I was like, is this his gate? And they're like, yeah, this is his gate. And I was like, oh,
It's really
oh shit.
though, how
I've
every
been in
place
there
has its own.
taking passengers.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how every place
It's
has
crazy,
its own
right?
culture like that. Well, in Georgia though, like there's gated places, but they're like in Buckhead, like closer to downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
They're
as you
suburb
get
gated.
Well, as you get further though, like even the bigger communities that are like country club communities and shit, they're not gated. They're just like kind of far from everything else.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of fucking cops in the burbs, like all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like all the fucking time. Like it's fucking wild. Like, and I live across from like one of those kind of communities, like Brookstone or whatever it's called, is like a country club community not far from where I am. And man, it's one of those things where like if the fucking fire department gets called or an ambulance or a cop or whatever, they're at my house and like quicker than shit because they're fucking
They're right down the
everywhere.
hill from you.
They're
Yeah.
fucking everywhere though.
Oh.
They're, like all over the fucking place.
Listen, when I got to the second gate, the guy was telling me how to get to my eventual boss's third gate, right? He's like, you pass the police station. I'm like, we're inside a gate. And he's like, yeah. You pass the police station, you pass the firehouse, you pass the Publix. And I was like, I'm like, we're inside a gate. They're like, yeah, dude, there's everything in here. There's a little strip mall you're going to see, and then you're going to go right, and then you'll see his gate. And I was like, what? Like, they don't need to leave in there. People just work in there. You know that place I'm talking about, right, Mario? It's literally, it would be like the width of it is like from 195 exit to another, like in a big part of like Palm Beach, and it goes deep.
I've been in there twice.
Yeah, I do. I used to have to go to that dude's house every day, like for a year, and that man told me my job was to like observe him, like how to do business, and also stop him from spending $100,000 every day. And I was like, yeah, all right. That's harder than you think when a drunk has like an unlimited bank account. And literally when you pick him up at like 8 a.m, he's like, call this strip club, tell him to get strippers there and open because I want to go there. I'm like, oh, you got a business meeting. And he's like, you're right. Tell him to open early at noon. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just don't.
How does that work? Like, what?
Like he dropped, like, the money that the people drop in places warrant like them being able to tell the people that own the place to do whatever they want. Like, that's the kind of fuck you money people have. That's why, like, I always...
Money.
Huh?
Once you make a certain amount
yeah,
of money,
you can't make less.
Itself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he was teaching me. Dude, and he was like, and I just, like, turbocharge it by flipping businesses. The first day I met him, I was working at Guitar Center, and he was beating on the demo display of the $10,000 drum kit that my buddy's dad bought him, right? And I was like, hey, man, if you break that, you buy it. And he had a Flanagan's cup full of rum or liquor, some stinky liquor, whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, money talks and bullshit walks. And then he drinks the whole thing, slams the cup on the counter, and leaves. And I was like, well, I guess bullshit walks, right? And then I'm leaving for the day, and my boss is like, come in here, man. This customer is real pissed at you. And I look in there, I'm like, oh, it's this drunk guy. Fuck. I'm like, what? What's up? Like, I didn't say anything to this guy except for please stop destroying the merchandise. And then he turns to me because he's sitting next to me. He's like, I was just fucking with your boss. I really liked your attitude. You like you had the balls to talk to me. I'm gonna buy that drum kit. Here's cash. And my boss was like, what? what the fuck just happened? And I was like, oh,
Is this-
okay.
Is this that same boss in one of the previous stories in other podcasts that you've told us about?
Yeah, the one that, like, he has 2 yachts, but he called and had me, like, rent a yacht. Oh, and he wanted me to rent a yacht, and I told him no, and he's like, I already called him. It's already ready to go. I'm like, by the time we get to, like, where our first yacht is, like, I could have called them and got it, like, prepped and ready to go. But you called and rented another yacht for 2 days, which negates me being able to save you spending $100,000 a day just in the rental. Like, he's like, it's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. You're literally saying my job, like, I didn't need to do my job for these 2 days. And then the other girl that worked with me was like, her job was to get all, like, the talent on the boat and make sure they weren't stealing. We were basically, her and I were basically that the butler from that movie with that millionaire kid that Russell Brand recently
Like,
redid.
Does this guy want to own a recording studio?
Get him to the Greek.
No. Ah, shit. It starts with a
A
D.
rich, insane benefactor is always kind of a fun idea, though, huh?
Yes.
Somebody who's just like, fucking, hey, I heard
So-
you had an idea. Here's $500K.
So I pitched
Fuck
him
you.
many
I'll
ideas.
see you later. Hey, order some chicken out of that. I
I-
want some chicken out of
I
that.
pitched him
500K.
many ideas, and
Right.
so this guy was like a business
Make sure there's honey.
genius. This guy was a
Oh, now I want
business
fried chicken with
genius, and he would just tell me my ideas were bad, and I'm like, okay, I mean, all right. If you tell me my ideas are Arthur. Remember that show Arthur, or that movie Arthur with Dudley Moore?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were. This girl and I were basically Dudley Moore, like Arthur's butler, where like
So
girls
sad.
girls would be
Dudley
trying to.
Moore
Like,
would be playing the piano at these gigs, and they thought he was doing a drunk shtick. He would just fucking pass out.
yeah,
And he would just fucking wake up and start playing the piano again. They thought he was just being a fucking, like, a joke.
comedian.
He was
but
having
no,
like
he's-
severe neurological issues.
Yeah.
And fucking-
poor guy.
From like years of just banging below and
Yeah.
fucking swilling and just fucking dee, and I was telling him that bang,
Yeah.
bam. And then fucking all of a sudden,
So-
like, what a fucking
Yeah,
show!
yeah.
He would get up and be, I guess I fell asleep for a minute. And people were like, what a fucking act. And he's like really just knocking out because of a fucking neurological issue. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's for some reason the saddest, most hilarious thing to me in my whole fucking. Maybe because I'm a little delirious right now, but yeah, that's fucking. That imagery stays in my mind for like it's been decades in my mind of Dudley Moore being like fucking just banging his fucking face
Oh.
on the piano, and then
But-
getting up with like a half shut eye and being like
So
continuing the fucking song like
So-
a fucking animal.
So back to the moral of the story.
Ugh.
Oh,
If you're in South Florida and some old white guy or some white guy's like, hey, come to my house, you're special, you fucking
Say
go.
yes to these
Say
people.
yes.
If you are a guy.
If you're a guy, yes. If you're a guy.
If you are a guy.
If you're a
There's a
girl,
lot of old guys that are gonna say that. To
if
a
you're a
lot
girl
of dicks.
and you're willing to
never go.
and you're
Never
willing
go if
to
you're a
make
girl.
the money and you're willing to make the money, if they have a butler with them, then you can go.
Listen,
It really,
this
it
is why-
really is interesting that we have some of these high-end producers that are like semi-retired out in these islands, and I don't
Oh,
know,
man.
I don't know if they
Islands,
do
they live on the
try?
mainland, bro.
Some of them do, but what I mean
Brian
is, like,
Wilson lives like 4 miles this way
Aruba,
from me.
Jamaica.
Like-
hey, I want to take a fucking another
that's the weird thing, right? Like, that's like when I get old.
It's Florida. It's South Florida. We are another country. Like in the other country of Florida is the craziest thing. You know?
But like, but what we're talking about is like the incredible pool of musical talent here in South Florida, musical and also acting talent. But
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
musical
saying. Like artistic talent as a
Yeah.
whole is crazy dense in South Florida.
It's a potent scene.
But
In a
particularly,
very condensed little area.
Yeah,
particularly between like
the 3 big blue counties is like
Yeah.
from the south of Miami to the south part of Port St. Lucie is the thickest, most condensed
dense little
pocket of talent in the entire United States, and I've been all over the fucking United States. Usually the best case scenario in every other part of the country, in whatever town you're in, right, or little cluster of towns like suburb area, is that everybody's shit and there's one really good group with maybe 2 phenomenal people in it, right? That's your best case scenario for like 4 parts. Like if you divide each state into 4 parts, that's your best case scenario for each one of the 4 parts. Here, it's like everybody's phenomenal in every group they're in, and they're like battling for, and then all the bars and like people that produce like TV shows and movies, they're spoiled because the talent pool is so like rich here that like if I don't know, they're just spoiled.
Yeah.
That like
Which is
the
weird
people
because,
don't
like,
get
the
to
music
thrive.
industry- the music industry is not really here,
No,
with the exception of Latin,
like Miami. Yeah.
and there's a little bit of hip hop in Miami too.
Yeah.
But like, and then you've got like the occasional TV series that comes out here.
Yeah.
Weird how there is so much talent here that's not being leveraged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and well, I think it's like what I was talking about, how all those songwriters that are in Palm Beach County, they're all older. I think they've already gone through the cycle of the Florida talent thing and realized, well, if I didn't get picked up, now I just have to work as a writer, like a behind-the-scenes person.
Yeah.
So now they're all just like, oh yeah, I've won a Grammy for writing a song for this person. Like the guy that wrote that song for Sheryl Crow, the guy that wrote the song "Are You Strong Enough to Be My Man?" He lives in West Palm. Like, what the fuck? He was like a not so successful like
super catchy song,
like D level artist in the '90s, and like I think maybe you would know who he was if I could find it. But like that's the thing. Like he didn't make it huge, and he was just like, but I know people and I work in the industry, so I'm just gonna sell all these songs. That's the thing. People are selling like their catalog of like 2 or 3 songs for like $10,000 all over the place.
See,
it's crazy.
I wonder though, is that era of people who get like one song as a hit and like ride a whole career? What was that guy? Was it John Cicada? He had like that one song that was like, I don't remember the fucking lyrics, but it was like, hey, hey, fucking like, and he had like one song, and he's like, everybody's mom wants to fuck him, like the whole '90s. He was like this one like Latin heartthrob. John
I don't
Cicada,
remember.
I think was there.
I don't remember
Google
that.
him.
Oh, the one you got, la da da da, that one.
Fucking yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
John
Yes,
Cicada, right?
that is it. Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. Like the Cuban American
He's like
singer
every
songwriter.
he's every white
Oh, and he
mom's
was, like,
version
cut.
of like a Latin heartthrob. Like
Yeah, and he was like wearing the Chippendales tie with no shirt on.
I've seen him with that, or he would also do like the white linen shit.
Yep, that's also the other pictures that
Yeah.
are there. Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
20 guys like that in South Florida.
yeah.
Dude,
That's the
he
thing,
was,
like-
the guy. He was like the guy for
This
a
is-
while. You know what I mean?
Like South Florida is like the Philippines
But hey,
with,
the white
with
linen
singers.
shit, I kind of dig that. It's comfy.
Yeah, I love.
I wish I
comfortable
was
clothes.
Hawaiian sometimes, just so I could wear that fucking, what is it called, a sarong?
I can't
Yeah,
wear
they rock.
Hawaiian. I can't wear any Hawaiian gear because people are just like, you're Hawaiian.
What's that?
I can't wear anything Hawaiian at all because people will be like, oh, how are you liking it on the mainland? And I'm like, huh? Like they're like, you're clearly like Hawaiian. Nah, brah.
My buddies, I had a kid's racist parents called me Hawaiian one time when I was a kid. Get that fucking big Hawaiian out of here, some shit like that. Dude.
That's
When I
Samoan.
was when I was like 12, and then one kid named Tyler, I'll never forget his grandma. She's like, Andrew. I had like a fro and shit, and she's like, are you a spick or a dago? I was like, I'm a little bit of both, ma'am. And she's like, well,
Can
you're
I
very
just say
well
that
spoken.
That impression sounds like Dana Carvey's George Bush.
Yeah,
More like Dana Carvey's fucking
church lady. Yeah,
That's who she kind of had the
church
vibe of.
lady.
She was like very like, if you saw her in like a turn of the century piece, she would like fit right in. Like she was in the house doing nothing but like dressed. You know what I mean? Like that type of person, like the hair in a tight bun and shit. And we're in there playing and stuff. And she's like, Andrew, that's a nice name. What's your last name? And I was like, Rodriguez. And she looked at me and she goes, are you a spick or a dago, Andrew? And I was like, fucking, yeah. But she was nice to me. She just was racist.
And was she racist, or was she just using the words that her...
kind of racist.
Was she just using the words that she knew?
I'm sure that there was other connotations to it that I didn't maybe like catch
Pick
as
up.
a kid. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure that conversation didn't end with the adults in that room with that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Whether it was the parents being like, you can't say that, grandma, or whatever,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, and then I had other friend, my buddy Z. His dad was either Chinese or Korean, and we were over there one time. And I probably told this story on the podcast
Yeah.
before. And his parents didn't like
Passionate
allow people
people.
to hang out. They didn't allow
Right.
people to come over, and he also wouldn't let us drink his water or his ice because it said it would taste bad because they had shit
The
in the fridge
kimchi.
going on.
Yeah, kimchi.
Yeah,
ice.
kimchi stuff. And like, so like, but Zio always had like hundreds of cans of soda because of that. Like, that's all he would drink at his house. He's like, I can't drink the water here. She would get mad. But I remember one time his parents came home and he was like, it's okay. You and Tom don't really look like white. So it's like, and you're not black. So like his parents were like really racist against white people and black people. And I remember his dad came in and was like, and then he said some shit to Z in like their language, and then I was like, oh, like I don't know if we're gonna be in trouble or what. And then he's like, yeah, Dad, I'm helping them study. They're a couple grades under me. Da, 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 da. And he was like, oh, and he was like asking us what we were studying, and we were talking about it, and he's like, oh, where's your family from? And then like the next thing he's telling me like, oh, Italian, oh, Spanish, oh, you make a song, oh, you make a dance, oh, study too much. Like he was fucking dead serious, and then he threw us the fuck out. He gave us sodas and he threw us out. Fucking, and he was like, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And he was like yelling at Z, and we were like, what happened? And he's like, oh, he just was telling me I was wasting my time helping like non-Asians study.
Yeah.
Like basically was the gist of the conversation. Like it was like a total waste of your time.
And I tried to
like they're not gonna get it, Z.
and
Move
I
on.
yeah, and I
Like, that
tried
kind
to
of-
tell you that's like the
Yeah.
that's like the entry level Asian racism too. It's just crazy.
He was nice to us every time he saw us. That was
Yeah.
just the one time where he was just like, no, don't study.
Let me
Don't
explain
bother."
something to you. When he's nice to you in the way like, oh, my son found a stray dog and we brought it home. The stray dog seems nice, but it's
we
not
give
going
it
to stay
milk.
here. Yeah, it's not going to
yeah.
stay here. Like, if you're not Asian, you're basically not human. That's just how Asians think. You're not.
Yeah.
You're subhuman, and you're nice. That's nice, but people shouldn't be that I associate shouldn't be associating with you like too much. Don't go over there. You'll turn
Right.
native or whatever. You know.
Like it's okay for business and shit, but that's
Even then, black people are bad luck. Don't do business with the black people. That is what I was told many times because they will bring bad luck to whatever your business is. And I'm like, okay, I will never do business, I guess. Well, I guess that's the thing.
Just marriage.
Just marriage, yeah, just marriage. You know how many
That's
Asian
awesome.
people?
That's a great fuck you, though. That's a great fuck you.
You know how many Asian people that I've known that have met my wife, and I'm like, "What's up? I thought you don't like black people." And I'm like, "Oh, she's not black," and I'm like, "Pretty sure she is." And they're like, "No, you misunderstand. She's not black." And I'm like, "No, I understand, but like, she's also still black." And they're like, "No. You see, you still don't." I'm like, "No, I do understand." Like it's that loop. I'm like, I understand you're trying to say she doesn't talk like hood people, but like she's still black. Like it's like they're
You see
comically
it, though, with
racist.
every culture, there's like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Mario,
yeah.
you took the words out of my mouth. Fucking A. But we've seen it with our own peeps too, Mario, where they just have stuff where they'll say, and you're like, what? Like, fucking, wait, what? Like, who the fuck
and you know
says
what- you know
that or taught you that or whatever?
Like the question that always comes to my mind is like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude,
Well-
our pop would say some shit sometimes.
So, like-
especially like when I was a teenager, that like,
Here's
fuck, bro.
I don't like to throw like things. I don't like to throw like people as a whole under the bus, but like when like Asians in America, right, went through similar things to black people, right, and then also in the entire history of Asia, like whole people were enslaved for like thousands of years, right?
Yeah, it happened all over the world. Yeah.
But like in China, like it's like it's like documented, like because China's history.
China?
Yeah, exactly. It never stopped. That's what I'm saying. So like, here's my thing:
cultural.
When Asian people come over here, or they've been here and like they grew up with their parents telling them like, yeah, your uncle got sent over the mountain in a basket full of dynamite and shit like that, or your great uncle, and then like Asian people are generally
lowered down by an Irishman.
Yeah,
there was an Italian running the fucking kitchen.
And Asian people are like generally like, I don't know if you realize this, but like the Southern Poverty Law Center and like BLM and all these like woke groups officially took Asian people out of the people of color category because they've never struggled.
Like, you know what's
because they've never struggled,
only
is what they said.
Specific Asians, though.
Yeah.
Only certain specific Asians, like the browner Asians, are like Malay people and Thai people, Filipinos. They're still in that. It's weird. I don't.
But no.
I don't listen to any of that shit, man.
But no, that my whole thing is
having relationships with individuals.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's another broad strokes
all
thing by people that are trying to like work under the guise of like equality. Are now like segregating and brushing whole groups of people with broad strokes that I'm like, isn't that what you're exactly trying to like?
Didn't it start with universities like altering like test requirements for making their
that's actually another thing that just happened. Like, so the Democrats are supposed to be
Harvard get like sued or some shit for that shit?
No, it was
or Yale or Princeton. It was like an Ivy League institution got sued.
It was
the criteria different for Asians.
That happened after the thing that opened the door for that was.
I'm saying Google it.
The thing that opened the door for that was University of UCLA, like right, University of Southern California. They don't have a thing where you can't fill out what race you are on their application. They only go by test scores. And like the precursor to the BLM movement was like, this is the most racist school. And they're like, excuse me? They're like, yeah, there's only like 2% of the population is black. And they're like, well, we only go by your test scores. And they're like, yeah, well, why are there so many white people there? They're like, hold on, 70% of the population of our school is Asian. And they're like, that's even worse. They have the most privilege. And they're just like, I don't understand. So they tried to sue UCLA for not having enough, because they're like one of the only like bigger schools that doesn't do the equal opportunity or whatever. Like I said, they just go by test scores. So they got sued and they won their case against that. They're like, we are a purely like tech-driven school. Like, we only want people with like the comprehension level to like do this. Is like, and they're like, and also like black people traditionally don't apply here. So like, I don't understand. Like, we're an Asian school basically, right? So then that's what then turned some other Ivy League school to start discriminating against Asian people. Like, your scores needed to be much higher to get accepted if you were Asian than if you were any other race. And then that's when that lawsuit then went against them, and then Asian people got put back down, and now that school is mostly Asian. Like, it's not Asian people's fault that like they test better.
I do think Asians and Jews should have to score like 5 points higher than everybody else.
But like, but 5 points is like is
5
nothing.
Points higher. And listen,
which is nothing. Like the amount that they were having to score higher was like near. They had to be near genius Asian to get in. Like just of humans, near genius humans. Like 5 points would be like cool. 5 points on your SAT, like plus or minus. Or plus for Asians and minus for everybody else. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It's 5 points. If like 5 points is keeping you out of a school, like that means you were also 5 points from like being like white and also not getting in too. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I don't really care. I was biting down on the joke. That was really.
No, I hear you. I was just like giving context to it too. Like.
No, I know.
Like that would be an acceptable amount. You know. Of discrimination. That would be an exceptional amount of discrimination.
I'm just trying to make it funny because it's such a goddamn bummer that that's where we are right now.
But like Asians just fucking.
The country is like so fucking dumb, like so fucking
Oh,
dumb.
well, where I was going with it was like, so Democrats are supposed to be the ones like defending all this shit, right? But the Republicans started this bill to where you can't discriminate against Asians as a college, and the Democrats said they voted against it and killed it on the fucking House floor and the Senate floor, and the Senate said they wouldn't vote for it either. Like, isn't that racist? Like, they're like voting for like, no, that's good. You should still be able to discriminate against Asians. You should still be allowed to be racist. Isn't that like the opposite of like what?
I think it's kind of funny though, where it's just like, oh, we get it. You can still, we'll keep that one for now. It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. That's what I mean.
I
like,
don't understand why anybody
so
would
sick
vote
of
against that.
I'm so
regardless
sick
of what
anything that's
political
like a
alignment they are.
race-based initiative, man. Like,
Well,
we
the
just
whole
have
thing.
individual relationships at this
Well, the whole
stage.
thing with the bill was the great thing I liked about the bill is that there wasn't like shit attached to it where people got money. There wasn't shit
Mario,
attached to it.
If you grow your beard out, you look like furry Jesus.
Oh yeah, do that.
I tried that once. It didn't work.
Dog Jesus.
Why not?
De Jesus? He'll be De Jesus. Wait, isn't that like a real Spanish last name?
I looked
De
like
Jesus?
furry
It's like Portuguese.
De Jesus.
I looked like furry Zorro.
Oh.
Furry Zorro,
What's
I
wrong
love it.
with that? That
Yeah,
sounds
it's awesome.
good too.
Yeah, but like
Instead of a Z, you do an F. Or a BD.
Or an R. Yes.
No, a B.
With a
B
tail.
for bark.
With your tail too. You have an
Yeah,
extra
with your
long tail.
Fuck.
An extra long tail that's also kind of pointy. Come on. Gotta go
it's
there.
actually kind of my modus operandi. So yeah.
There you go.
A tail with like a rapier tip.
Yes. Yes.
Nah.
It's always got a place too.
I hate facial hair on myself. I really do.
It's what you're used
Listen,
to. 'Cause I never
for
liked to grow a
those
mustache,
of
and I don't
us-
like the feel of it.
For those of us that this takes over a year to grow, you should do stuff with facial hair. Come on.
I just shaved all my shit off.
This is
the other day.
see-through. This is see-through. This is the Asian holding my white halfback as much as it can. There's no hair underneath here. I got the Cocker Spaniel thing going right here. Just not, like, this is just not shaven for a year. It's not thick anywhere. It's sparse. You can see through every bit. It's all, there's patches
funny.
everywhere.
Have that sheepdog vibe. I wasn't gonna lie, but
Listen, man.
like this is, I shaved. I missed shaving this morning, and so this is like yesterday.
You know, I know every other real man can grow hair on their face. I understand. Every other real man.
I wish that I didn't have to shave as much because I have that like real, like dark, heavy stubble. Because like I don't know, like that I look like a fucking bad guy from a Disney movie if I didn't just have the beard.
Listen.
The beard already looked like I fucking could be in the Taliban, especially when I let it get long. But fucking when it comes to like the whole scruffle face, if I let it go, I look like a real fucking Neanderthal real quick. My beard
what's
goes
wrong
all the
with
way
that?
up my cheek up to like.
Didn't you play the head of the palace guard in the new Aladdin movie?
I could have. I fucking
Listen.
for sure could have.
Exactly how you have shaved, Andrew, is all I want to do, and then have that grow out to like right, like down.
Right.
Like once I discovered this specific genre of death metal, and I realized all of them had like giant neck beards and shit, I was like,
Right.
that's what I want to do. Could never grow hair till recently, like the past couple years of my life, and I'm almost 40. Is when I could start to grow just
You
this.
should do,
I
like,
didn't need to
a
shave.
small amount of testosterone.
I didn't need to
Small,
shave
like,
till
lab
I
fat.
was 28. Like I didn't need to shave regularly for 28 years.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
yeah. And then just my mustache started to grow a little bit, and now just all this finally starting to do something. That's it. So by the time I'm
Some
50,
testosterone.
I'll be able to grow. Yeah,
I'm gonna
Blast
testosterone.
some tests.
Uh,
Blast some tests.
I feel like
Get
that
up.
doesn't work. I feel like that won't work. My Asian's too strong.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm probably gonna get that permanent, that FDA approved permanent hair removal for my facial hair, just because
Really?
I'm frustrated with it. Yeah, no, I'm frustrated with it.
Speaking of FDA approved,
because of the way that my skin is, Like I cut
Sure, you
myself,
might regret that later on.
I cut myself shaving every morning.
But why don't you get a little balder instead of use a razor?
No, I'm just gonna get what
Do
is
you
it?
know? But do you know what a balder is?
What?
It's a three
It's an
round thing.
attachment. No, it's not that. It's like they're like Norelco makes them, Phillips makes them. They're like little shavers, right? That have different attachments on them, and it's this one attachment. Barbers use it, and it takes it really, 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 really low, and it's fucking, and it's not a razor. It's really good. It's called a balder. You should look into it before you get fucking laser face shit.
Oh, not lasering. It's something else. It's the one where it like
Or
shoots.
it kills the follicle.
Yeah, where it kills. The follicle.
Ew.
Speaking
It'll
of
kill your follicles.
FDA approved, how about them vaccines, huh? Not FDA approved.
I'm
You know
getting
what?
I'm getting my second shot on Star Wars Day. May the Fourth be with you.
On that note, it's midnight. I'm tired. I've been awake since yesterday. Before this time, yesterday morning. This has been a 2-day run.
Don't get the
Daddy's been
vaccine.
busy.
Don't get the vaccine.
We're doing an experiment. My wife
Don't get the
has
vaccine.
gotten the first one, and I'm not getting
Oh,
it
no.
because I don't care. And she was like, "You don't care?" And I was like, "No." And then I continued to not care. Here's the thing, in my opinion, and this is just my humble opinion. Everybody has a different immune system. Everybody has a different degree of what they're capable and comfortable with potentially having to incur and deal with. And I'm not too worried about it. I've read all the shit that I could find about it, and then I've read everything that I could find about the vaccines. And I'm not even opposed to getting the vaccine, but I am opposed to getting it before it's had long enough runs and before they get full FDA approval. So I figure on waiting the year and see which ones have fallout, because there's already been recalls and issues with certain ones. So I'm content to wait a bit. And then also, like I said, everybody's made a different shit. I feel I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not going to get a vaccine that only has a 99% survival rate if you're under 60 years old. I'm good.
What?
It only has a 99% survival rate if you catch the virus if you're under 60 years old. I'm not gonna get a vaccine. Please don't talk to me about that. Like, I'm literally surrounded by medical professionals all day.
I'm not going to lecture you. I'm not your papa.
I'm literally just like fucking like pelted with information from all of my friends that work at the Florida Department of Health and my few friends that work at the CDC and my entire like in-laws that are all fucking medical professionals. So and they say like get it, don't get it, whatever. Like, I'm just saying the only thing that they all say is that like you have like a 99% survival rate if you're, I think the age group is literally like 62 and under. It's like it literally is like 99.5.
If you have comorbidities, then you should consider getting it. But if not,
No, they said even then it's like
like an issue.
like at 62 you have like a 99.5% of surviving, and then as you go down in the age groups it's like 99.7, 99.8, and then when you get to like kids it's like 99.9% of surviving. That's all I'm saying. So like, I'm just not going to get a vaccine for something that has like 99% approval rate or a survival rate, which I've caught twice and survived. And the second time, I didn't even know that I had it at all. I didn't even have the no taste and no smell symptoms. So like, I'm good on that. That's all. Only 99% survival rate. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sleepy. Fuck all this.
I don't
about this shit.
care.
I'm gonna make a mortadella sandwich and I'm gonna eat
Oh,
it
I'm
and
jealous.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Did you
with
get that
pieces of stone
mortadella
in my
from
mouth.
Finley's?
I got it from Publix.
Oh, still good.
Boar's
Still
Head.
Boar's
Boar's
Head.
Head mortadella.
Does it have
Boar's Head
pistachios in it?
mortadella. Fuck yeah, it does.
Do you know they sell? Oh, never mind. There's
What's that?
some of the Publix don't have the one with pistachios in it.
The one by me does, and that's what we'll be getting a pound of the minute that we're kicking it. We'll get that. You actually returned me on to mortadella when we were at Western
So good.
Beef one of the last times I was down. You got a bunch of it and
So
left
good.
it at my Airbnb.
And
I
you
was
stayed
like,
it all.
mortadella.
Yeah.
We have leftover Italian bread. I just grabbed like half of
Dude,
it.
mortadella
put it
is
in
so
the bread,
good.
And it was just like, fucking delicious.
It is the most
Anyway,
Italian
love
meat,
you boys.
right?
And hey, if you go back to my rant in the past about the masks, I'll say the same thing about the vaccine. And this is my parting note. This is America, the place where you can decide to get it or not.
Yes.
You can decide what you're comfortable with doing.
You can get it if you want.
Decide if you give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't. With that, good night, good luck, Godspeed, and hopefully everybody's dick gets wet before the weekend is out. Peace.
Luck, bro.
Nah. Oh, he said bye for real. We're
Oh,
not
yeah,
even
no,
done
he
streaming.
jumped out-
He
jumped
didn't
out.
let.
We didn't even finish the show.
He didn't even let me play the outro. I'll play the outro right now. And
Oh, cool.
and like it's funny because like the scenes are all messed up now that he left. So then that's still streaming. All right, transition to outro. Yeah, do you see that? Yeah.